I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll crawl out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old Bitch Fest podcast. Damn it. I knew eventually one week I was going to get that wrong. No, it's a podcast, right? You guys are there. You got your earbuds on. You're listening to me via the internet. I guess it's also kind of a bitch fest, but that wouldn't look good on the title because I want iTunes to list me. I want to be listed as one of the favorites, folks. And oh my God, if you call anybody over there at iTunes, they're going to tell you that I am clearly one of the favorites, one of the pioneers of podcasting, and certainly the godfather of independent podcasting. And I say that as a man who has kissed Fredo on the mouth and told him that he broke my heart. I'm here now, and it's different from last week because, as you know, last week we were... let's talk a little bit about last week because there was a bunch of stuff that happened. Unfortunately, Lily was not available, and I had to find a place to record the show. It was on short notice, and I had several offers of people leaping up to the table and trying to get me to be involved and do the show with them, which was very nice of them, as I've mentioned, Gio. And I should say this, Gio stepped up and he's like, dude, I can totally do the show. And he volunteered Caesar. I told you all about that last week. And I never texted Gio to tell him he wasn't doing it. And did I mention this last week on the show? I don't remember a lot of what I talked about last week on the show. All I know is the next day I then texted Gio and I said, hey, can Caesar help out? And Gio was like, yes, absolutely. When do you want him over there? Because he thought I meant for this week. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm teasing because I didn't fucking get back to you yesterday and the show's already aired and you've heard it and you've listened. And Gio was, again, he could not be nicer. And he said... he said, it was a great show. And I said, well, thanks. It was very weird doing it that way. And he goes, no, man, you totally sounded like John Connor giving the last rallying speech to the humans as the machines took over. I'm like, wow. All right. I said, I'll accept that. That actually sounds okay. Because the show is, it's completely different without Lily. It has to have Lily involved or else it's just me jabbering into space, as we all know. I mean, well, let's put it this way. Even with Lily involved, it's me jabbering into space, but she's there sometimes to bear me aloft on her shoulders, and I appreciate that very much. Now, to the rest of you who wrote me, because Gio, like I said, he's like, great show, and here's why. I will tell you there's a lot of other people out there who sent me notes or contacted me via the internet. That seems. Let me delineate that really quick. Everybody contacted me via the internet. Nobody sent me a note. I mean, like there were no ravens landing on my windowsill with a fucking note tied to their claw that said "You blow." Although that would be a great use of that. Holy shit! I gotta have carrier pigeon just so I can send out obscene messages to people. Wouldn't that be the fucking greatest? Here, fly, be free. And if a bird lands on your windowsill and you open up the note and it just says "You blow," how great would that be? Tell me you wouldn't love it. And tell me you don't bash that fucking bird on the head and cook him up like squab style. That's right. I would tie his legs together and I'd cook him. I'd totally pluck him. Actually, bullshit. I'd cook him with his feathers on. Dude, I cook. I'm a serious cook. I am now a cook. Let's put it that way, folks. I'm now a cook. I've always been a guy who can cook. I've worked in restaurants, but now I'm cooking things. And when I was at Jill's house, only when I'm with Jill. I don't cook at my house. No, that's stupid. Why would I cook at my house? But when I go to Jill's house, like I want to cook things. So I think I told you guys I cooked a steak, and then I made like a whole jalapeno slaw, and I made some party potatoes for $4,000 that sat in her fridge for a week. That's the main flaw in my cooking, folks. I don't scale back a recipe. So I'm cooking for me and Jill. Now, Jill and I, we go to restaurants, and we order one thing and we split it. And then we each eat 3 bites, and we stare at one another, and we roll our eyes, and then we order 4 desserts, and then we leave. I mean, because that's how we run our lives. We just order one entree, and we split it like all the time because I'm eating is for the week for me, and she weighs 9 pounds. So it just makes no sense. And plus, we've got plenty of chocolate to eat. That's the thing. We have to get home and eat tons of chocolate. She's terrible. I've got her so it's like she's like so mad at me because she's just like, "Hey, do we have any chocolate?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's your house." And then I'll come back. But then when I go to her house, she's like me, dude. Her fridge has like a ton of shit in it. But then there'll be like a shelf with just Chobani and chocolate. I'm like, "That's my shelf in your fridge. God damn it." We got to add another to that chicken. I'm adding chicken, Chobani, and chocolate. That's how I've lost my weight. Because I'll tell you this, folks. I actually real quick. Let's go back to the cooking deal. So then I cooked that, and then I was at her place a couple of weeks ago, and Jill had never had a breakfast burrito. And it was one of those things where we were out and she was like, do you want breakfast? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm kind of hungry. And she's like, well, what should we get? And she goes, I think I have eggs at the house, but I don't really have anything else. And I said, well, okay, because there's a great meat place by her house where we got this amazing bacon. And I was like, well, let's go get some bacon. And then she's like, I said, oh man, do you have any toast? I said, maybe we'll get tortillas. We can make tortillas. And she's like, oh, and I go, well, I'll make you a breakfast burrito. And she's like, and I laughed and she's like, what's that? I'm like, pardon me? And she said, I've never had that. What's a breakfast burrito? It sounds gross. And I went, oh my God. No, you are so wrong. Literally, there's two things. There's breakfast and then there's burrito, and then you smash them together. Oh my God, it's fucking perfect. And it's not like you take a dinner burrito and you stack breakfast onto it. You take breakfast and put it inside of a little burrito. Dude, who doesn't want to eat food in a house? That's the fucking greatest. Pie has like a fucking, it's got a house on top of it, and it's like, oh, it's so good. I love stuff in a house. So that's how a burrito is, and a breakfast burrito, Jesus, because I love eggs and I love bacon and potatoes. It's just so good. So I said, well, fuck this. I'm going to make breakfast burritos at your house. And she goes, okay. And it was one of the, I'm not even joking. It's one of those stupid ideas where we're like, we're hungry. Let's have eggs and bacon. And then 4 hours later, I'm in a supermarket trying to pick out the best potatoes for dicing. I mean, I went online because again, I've never made a breakfast burrito in my life. I should tell you that. It's just not my thing. But I said to her, I go, I'll make you breakfast burritos. She's like, I'm in, let's do this. And I was like, oh fuck, I gotta make breakfast burritos now. So I go online and I Google a recipe. And again, stupid me, I just thought it was, again, I was just going to make eggs and, scrambled eggs and potatoes and bacon and then put them with cheese in a fucking house. But, dudes, here's the key component that I totally forgot. And because I'm dumb. I know you fry up bacon super crispy and you smash it into like bacon brittle. And then you cook the eggs and you shipwreck them. You fucking make them that way. And then you put the cheese in there and you fold it all in. But here's what I forgot, folks. I was going to make potatoes. Because to me, potatoes are the key to any breakfast burrito. I can put eggs and fucking bacon in there, but you got to have like hash browns or potatoes in a breakfast burrito because it gives it body, it gives it weight, it gives it heft, it gives it girth. It's all about heft and girth, folks. So I'm like, dude, I'll totally get some potatoes. So we bought like regular, I didn't buy frozen hash browns. I said, I'm going to buy real potatoes. Because here's what I did. I went on the internet and I looked for my friends to tell me how to make breakfast burritos. And I Googled like the best recipe or the best thing I could find. And I actually, here's how I followed, folks. There's plenty of people out there that'll tell you about a breakfast burrito. There's a Mario Batali who's probably throwing a fucking garlic bud in his. And then there's a Bobby Flay who's probably got a bunch of cumin in his. No thanks. And then there's like a Rachel Ray who's probably throwing fucking everything in hers because she's a house. And then there's, wow. She's a monster. I used to have a fucking serious crush on Rachel Ray, and then she took a cheesecake photo for like Maxim where she's like, hey, I'm cooking in a bra. I mean, it was like that ridiculous, one of those stupid where you knew that she was so unsexy, and they were like, what if you did this? And she went, okay. And then she like Coco from Flashdance her shirt off and cried and put a casserole in the oven. It was so bad. You could probably find that picture online because she looks so goddamn uncomfortable in a bra. Like I don't think Rachel Ray's ever been naked in her life, and I'm being completely honest there. She's a never nude like fucking David Cross from Arrested Development, because she looked so sad to be in a bra, and I think she was actually like licking her finger, but you in your head you're just like, that's not sexy at all. There really was frosting that she wanted because that's who Rachel Ray is as a person. And I'm not saying she's like, that's who she is. She's built like a fucking fire hydrant. That's just who the fucking chick is. She's like a mailbox with arms. She's like my mom, just that little squatty kind of boom chick. You know what I'm talking about? She looks like a fucking stack of pancakes with a hat. I mean, she's just fucking weird looking, man. Rachel Ray got fucking bizarre looking. And I dug her in the early days. I did, man. I was all over. I'm like, she's cute and she cooks and she's awesome. And now she looks like a fuck, she looks like Rosie the robot from the Jetsons, but human. Like, she's just kind of square and rolling around and cooking shit and going, here is my recipe. Yummo. I mean, it's just fucking awful. She's terrible. I'm not a fan. Evo O and all that fucking shorthand. And then she got a talk show. I don't get that shit at all. It's like, hey, that chick knows how to make muffins. Let's give her a fucking microphone. Fuck that. Give her a spatula. Fuck, man. I don't understand it. Emerald, hey, those people are clapping for his fucking Mugu Gai Pan. Let's give him a sitcom. No, let's never do that in a million years, ever. Get this fucking shaved ape back behind a goddamn stove. Not an Emerald fan. Boom, bang. What does he say? I don't fucking remember. Bam, that's what it is. Jesus Christ, awful. Guy says bam, they give him a show. That's it. That's all he had to do. You know what? You should give fucking Betty Rubble's fucking son 2 shows. All right. So yeah, Rachel Ray, I can't. I just don't understand it. Honestly, she just looks like a mop bucket holding a spoon. I mean, she's just so weird looking. Like, you ever see a mop stuck in a mop bucket with like the hair hanging down, and it's like that one big piece. That's who she is. But she's like more round. She's not a mop. She's like a fat mop. Fat mop, doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo, fat mop. That's actually rag mop. She's not fat. Rachael Ray's not fat. I'm fat. Rachael Ray is just fucking thick. And there's nothing wrong with thick. I like thick. I got no problem with it. But just Rachael Ray is just profoundly unsexy. I mean, literally, she's just this black hole of appeal. I don't understand it. I don't see it. Because, I mean, you can see people cooking and you're like, hey, man, I kind of see the appeal of this chick. Like, she'd be kind of hot in her underwear cooking and, like, maybe that's sexy. But, like, dude, she is just a goddamn mess. She is just, she looks just like a pile of broken eggshells with a wig on. God, I don't like her. All right, so. And the reason I don't like her is because she became super crazy famous. I don't even know why they fucking ran with her. I mean, I knew her from the jump, and I was just like, okay, I dug her, and I was on board early on. But then everybody got on board, and they were just like, dude, we totally got to give this chick more to do. And it's like, no, don't give her more to do. Please. She was cooking, and it was fine, and that was okay. But then they were like, hey, let's totally make her a fucking rockette. No, she can't dance. She's a goddamn chef. Not even a chef. She's a cook. This woman is frying bologna on the Food Network. I don't need to see her in the morning talking to fucking rape victims. God damn it. Let people do what they do. That's it. Just let people do what they do. Find their strengths and play to them. You don't have to fucking take them out and fish out of water them into some other fucking thing that they cannot do. Rachael Ray is not a talk show host. She's not. I don't care how many times you have your Nazi PAs beat into the fucking heads of the housewives in the audience that they have to clap and cheer for her no matter what the fuck she says. She's not entertaining or appealing in the least. You know when she's entertaining? You know when she's appealing? When she's making me soup. That's right. And I don't say that in a sexist way. I say it as a television host. No, I say it as a television host. She is built to make soup. She's low to the ground and she has a spoon in her hand. God damn it. That woman is a walking ladle. Make me some goddamn soup. Why does it always come back to soup for me? You're probably thinking. I don't know. I can't tell you. So I was looking for a breakfast burrito recipe, and I don't trust a Rachael Ray because I'm sure she'll have hers is filled with words that are inappropriate. You know what I mean? Hers is literally if you make a Rachael Ray breakfast burrito, you cut it open and just inappropriate conversation flies out. That's it. Go look up Rachael Ray breakfast burrito recipe, and I guarantee it's just a tortilla stuffed with awkward conversation. That's it. Fuck that. She may throw some cheese in there. So, I wanted to find somebody to help me out, to coach me through a breakfast burrito. I'm in my girlfriend's house, and I just said I'm going to make you a breakfast burrito. I need some Sherpa. I need someone to grab my hand and hold me through. And I can't do Guy Fieri's. I can't do that because it's going to have, unfortunately, there was not enough peroxide in Jill's house for me to go ahead and do that. That's another fucking guy. And look, everybody's making fun of him and he's an easy target, and I get that, but there's a reason he's an easy fucking target. He's another one where they're just like, let's give him every fucking show on the planet. I would much rather watch literally a douchebag on a stool than actually see Guy Fieri host a goddamn show. Because it's the same thing. It's just the douchebag has a better haircut. And I liked Guy Fieri. Again, like Rachael Ray, I was on board with him in the beginning when he was kind of like a neophyte, when he was a fawn, a deer in the headlights, kind of trying to find his way through and helping people eat goddamn sandwiches. That was fine. I didn't mind that. But then when they went, hey, this is a guy who should host a game show about Kleenex, I went, get the fuck out of here. You're joking, right? You're joking. No, man, what was that show? And that show was called like 1 Minute Challenge or 1 Minute something. And I was like, you know what? That literally, that's a perfect title metaphor for Guy Fieri's entire fucking career. Because you know what? The 1 Minute Challenge is even dealing with 1 minute of watching him without fucking turning it off. Oh my God. Don't get it. And it's funny if you watch the reruns, because, he's just this cottage fucking industry now. Apologize. He's on the Food Network. He's a cottage fries industry at this point. God, fucking great. So he's on all of these fucking shows, and you can actually see him evolve into douchebag central. I mean, it's just, he's, in the beginning, he is kind of a goof. He won that star thing, and he had a goatee, and he had the fucking hair. But then, it's literally like the second season, you're like, why is he wearing that bracelet? Like, it's just, you see him, he's becoming a douchebag before your very eyes. And then the third season, you're like, 3 rings? Did you really need 3 rings? I don't know, in the off season from the second season to the third season, did you win 3 World Series titles? Is that why you have 3 rings on? I don't recall you being on the Red Sox, you dumb fuck. Oh my God. And I love the idea of a chef adding jewelry. Don't they want to take their rings off so they don't get caught in a fucking blender or wherever they put their hands? I'm not a cook. But these guys are walking around a goddamn stove and a blender and fucking everything else. Why would you want your bracelet to get caught in the fucking gears? And actually, aren't we all rooting for that? Honestly, you know what? Guy Fieri, fuck that. I hope you put on as much goddamn jewelry as Zoltar the fucking magician and you get sucked into a goddamn Burkle and ground the fuck up. That's what I want to see. I want Guy Fieri to get sucked into like a baklava filling and then just cover him with fucking sweet syrup. That's it. Done. I love the idea of a chef adding jewelry. You know, what if I wear a few more rings? Yeah, it's a good idea. Because God knows we want you to lose your fucking pinky ring in a fucking starter batch of dough, you dumb fuck. God damn it. Hey, how do I make this sourdough bread? Well, it's pretty easy. You just go ahead and some water and some yeast, and you go ahead and throw some activator in there, probably some sugar. So the yeast can feed on that. And then, go ahead and throw a 3/4 carat stone ruby ring in there. That would be perfect. Once that floats to the top, it's ready to bake. Don't be alarmed if your bread has a goatee. Fuck that guy. Fuck that comma guy. So I needed to find someone to help me out in Breakfast Burrito Town, in Flavor Town. That's where I went. I went to Flavor Town with Guy Fieri. I went there. You know, he is the mayor of Flavor Town. I don't know if you've heard that. That's what he proclaimed himself, the mayor of Flavor Town. And I want to recall that election. I do. I absolutely do. I mean, look, I could see him as maybe being the comptroller of No Tasteville. I could see that possibly. Dudes, No Tasteville and comptroller? We're done. Honestly, I got to walk the fuck out of here. I can't stop yelling. I'm great. The comptroller of No Tasteville. Holy shit. Who wants to arm wrestle? I'm awesome. I'm going to yell that from now on when I do something good. Who wants to arm wrestle? Like, because I'm like so excited and strong. Oh, man, who wants some of this? Step up. John Brzenk Jr. me, man. Put it on the fucking cup. Literally 2 people out there are like, I can't believe you just said John Brzenk Jr. and they're running around their living rooms high-fiving nobody. They're so happy. All right. So my point is I needed a breakfast burrito, folks. I needed someone to guide me through it because, again, I now have an incredibly adorable 5-foot-tall, 100-pound woman tapping her foot and looking at me in the grocery store and going, excuse me, you made a promise here. And again, this is her introduction to breakfast burritos. I just told her how great they are. So I can't fuck this up. I can't fucking chili dip this thing. That would be terrible because then she eats it because then she'll never try another. That's the thing with Jill too. I'll be like, hey, because she will try anything. She's fucking awesome. I'll be like, hey, try this, try that. And she's on board. She's eating fucking squid and fucking shrimp heads and nonsense. I mean, she's really she's gone for it, man. She has absolutely gone for it. But I'll tell you what, if she doesn't like it, we're done. She's not going to return to it. She's not going to learn to like anything. All right. Except me. That's literally the only thing that she's given any sort of time to learning to like. But I mean, as far as food or anything on a plate, she is so game and so awesome. And that's why I love her, because she is such a yes. But I'll be honest with you, man, if she tries it and she'll be like, I even see the face. I can see her cute little face that she'll make I'm just like, all right, honey, you don't need to finish that. That's okay. You don't need to finish that. And the last thing I wanted to do was see that face after my breakfast burrito. I couldn't handle it. Because if I ruined something as perfect as breakfast burritos for her, then I would feel guilty and I would feel shame for the rest of my life. That's all I need is the entire nation of Mexico furious at me because I gave them such a bad name. And I gotta be honest, I don't think Mexico has any fucking clue what breakfast burritos are. They have no idea. That is clearly an American invention and an American construction. Because we took all of the great things from Mexico, like tortillas, and then we went, hey, let's barf up a breakfast inside of it and wrap it up. Done. Let's do that. Perfect. And I think the only reason we did that is because we can't eat shoes. Like, honestly, we were just like, well, we need to put all of our breakfast in something on the go. Well, throw it in your shoes. I can't eat my shoe. How about a tortilla? Done. Because you know what? Tortilla, again, it wraps up like a nice little house. You can make an egg sandwich, but then when you bite the fucking front of the sandwich, boom, egg all the way out of the back, and it falls on the subway train, and what happens? Fucking the stripper who comes in to film a viral video strips and falls and sues you. You can't have that. I need more of that in the subway, please.
Oh my God.
I'll talk about the subway later, eventually. Maybe today, maybe another time. Who knows? It's a coin flip. Right now, we're still talking about potatoes. Jesus Christ, what happened? What the hell happened to us? We got into a potato discussion we can't get out of. And I know at home you're going, you can get out of it if you want to.
Really?
Gold, Mike. All right, so that's a potato. That is a potato pun that you've never heard the likes of before in your life and will never hear again. Ever. And some of you are there at home are going, what's it all about, Mike? Potato puns. See, that's the kind of dumb shit Rachel Ray would say. See what I've turned into? See what happened? Because you know what? I'm not a fucking broadcaster. I'm a cook, folks. I'm a goddamn cook. At least I thought I was. But when I decided to make breakfast burritos for my girlfriend. And again, I couldn't ruin it. I couldn't be the guy who destroyed something beautiful for her. I didn't want to be the Edward Norton to that breakfast burritos Jared Leto. I did not want to be that. I did not feel like destroying something beautiful. I wanted to make sure that it existed. Lou, you don't know where I've been, Lou. So I needed to make this effort, and I needed to make it work. I needed to have it happen. I needed to find somebody on the internet, someone preferably with a Z in their last name. I was going to call Mex. I was going to say, Mex, help me with this breakfast burrito. But I didn't want him to hang up on me and laugh. I did not want that to happen because, again, he has a family who makes authentic Mexican food, and if I called him and asked about a breakfast burrito, there's a very good chance he would reach through the phone and throttle me. I mean, like, honestly. Because his mom and makes amazing food, and now his wife knows how to make the amazing food. We have it every Christmas party. It's just tostada bar and fucking great food, and it's home. I mean, it's so good. God damn it. So if I were to call him and go, dude, hey, you want to coach me through a breakfast burrito for my girlfriend? I literally, the click would sound like a gunshot, and my head would explode like Bud Dwyer's. I mean, honestly, it would be death by loud sound. That's exactly how it would happen. He would hang up on me so fucking hard, it would look like I had committed suicide with the phone. It would just blow out the other side of my goddamn head. So I couldn't possibly involve that man. I couldn't. I wanted to. I thought about it. Again, he's got a Z in his name. He's got to know, right? He's got to know. And I said, I need somebody with a Z in their name. I almost called Zelda Moon. Didn't do it. I almost called Zach Street. Didn't do it. These are Facebook friends with Z's in their name. I have no idea if they cook or what they do. Actually, I do. I've met Zelda. I don't think I met Zach Street. I think Zach Street was nice to me once, and then he wasn't. Is that true? I don't know if Zach Street might not even listen anymore. Literally, these are people who, like, they may have become my friends like the first year of the podcast, and then they're still my friends like 7 years later. They have no fucking idea who I am or why I'm there. They don't even listen to the goddamn show anymore. That happens sometimes. Like when I was calling people, I'll put up a photo. Like I put up a photo from New York 2 weeks ago, and I think it was Noreen, who's a listener to the show. She's very nice, and I met her when I did my show in New York, and she actually wrote, "You're in New York? Don't kill me. I'm behind in your podcasts." And I love the idea that I would be angry at anyone for being behind on the podcast. I mean, you have a life. You have things to do. I mean, if you choose to take the one source of joy out of your life, I can't argue with you. If you just fucking put your nose to the grindstone and decided you didn't want to have any more fun or enjoy anything ever again the rest of your life, then fine. That's up to you. I'm not the one getting hurt in this equation. I put the show out there. What you choose to partake in is up to you. And if you don't want to dive into a big swimming pool of me every Thursday fucking morning, I can't stop it. I can't force you. I can't push you into a big pool of me. And besides, today's caddy day, so you don't want to go out there anyway. It's all to animals. They're animals. The big swimming pool of me is filled with caddies today. Oh my God, don't go out there. All right, so I needed to make a breakfast burrito, and I needed to get somebody on board who could help me out. So I went on the internet, and as I said, I scrolled through all of these famous chefs, and I looked for their recipes. But and by the way, I'm doing this on the fly as we're trying to like get grocery and ingredients and stuff, because I came on like I knew what the fuck I was doing, because I do. It's bacon, eggs, potatoes, cheese, and a tortilla. But I also wanted to make sure that I had a little pizzazz in it. I wanted to throw a little fucking curveball in there, a little fastball in there for my girl. And also, she's a spicy like chick. Ay. She's muy caliente. So I'm like, well, it's got to be spicy too, because I got to do that for her. So what am I going to do here? So here's what I did. I Googled, I went breakfast burritos, and I looked for somebody, and I found a source. I found somebody I trusted. I found somebody that I was willing to stand side by side with as we walked under the altar of burritos. I found someone holding a golden spatula. I found somebody whose frying pans I could fill. I found somebody who is going to be the one to lead me to the promised land. I found the Pioneer Woman. That's right. If you've not seen her show on the Food Network, the Pioneer Woman is she's the anti-Rachel Ray, because she's interesting on camera. And by interesting, I mean she just cooks and shuts up. That's fine. That's all I want. She's very pleasant and nice. She looks a little like Trisha Yearwood. And she's just this corn-fed housewife who's got a rodeo clown husband and like 5 kids, and she cooks for him and somehow got a television show off a blog. It was one of those things. Like she wrote a blog and she's like, here's how I make noodles. And someone went, you need to be on television immediately. We have a shortage of proper noodle makers on the television set. Where do you live? Idaho? Really? Do you have cameras in Idaho? I don't know. Can you bring some in? We can. Done. The Pioneer Woman is a woman Go figure. But that's in her. She's a woman, and she lives on a big ranch, and she's married to a cowboy. And every week she makes like big fucking cowboy food, like the kind of shit that Fred Flintstone would pull up in his car, see it being cooked, and then drive away to avoid further damage to his vehicle. I mean, it was like that sort of thing. He knows that if he gets anything from the Pioneer Woman, it's going to tip that car over again, and then it's the final credits, and he doesn't even get to fucking see Barney and say, Barney! So I said, Pioneer Woman, you have to lead me through, because she came up, breakfast burritos. And so I looked through what you needed to get it, at all the instructions and all of this. And so we're walking through, and I'm buying stuff in the grocery store. And so I knew, again, like I said, I knew really what I needed to use to make breakfast burritos, and I knew what I wanted to have in them. But there was one key thing that I forgot, and here's what it is. We got home because we were hungry. And we were like, well, let's stop and get some eggs to make. And then it just turned into, I'll make you breakfast burritos. And then it turned out an hour at the store. And then we got back, and I was like, all right, I'll make these. Have a seat. And here's the thing I forgot, folks, because I'm following I wanted to make something really good. I didn't want to just go ahead and slapdash something together, because I can't be the one who ruins breakfast burritos forever. Because honestly, if she doesn't like them, then I don't know what our future holds. As you all know, every Thursday I wake up and I throw on a pair of shorts and I go get a breakfast burrito and I listen to this show. That's how I run my life. So I have to have her on board for that. She can throw on a pair of shorts. We'll go get breakfast burritos together and we'll share them. It'll be so amazing. So I didn't want to ruin them. So I went and I got all the stuff. But here's the thing I forgot. I know it's potatoes. I know it's eggs. And I know it's cheese. And I know it's bacon or whatever meat you choose. I choose bacon. But here's what I forgot. I'm dumb. And all right, I'll just run this by you guys. Did you know you have to cook potatoes? I ask that in all seriousness. Because whenever I get a potato from the kitchen at a restaurant, I cut it open, there's steam, and it's hot, and it's cooked. It's fine. It's delicious. It's wonderful. But did you know when you buy a potato in a store, they expect you to take it home and do something to it? Like fire or flame or a convection oven? What does that even mean, a convection oven? But you're supposed to fucking cook these things. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I just thought, again, like I see them at the restaurant. They wrap them in foil and they open them up. Bing, they're hot. So I thought that's maybe what I could do. But instead, I read the Pioneer Woman's ingredients and her directions. I have to take these potatoes and I have to dice them up, and then I have to boil them in water to get them soft enough to fry with the rest of the food. Like it's a whole other step. Like, I mean, you can't just... Like, I knew I had to chop stuff up. I was going to do a rough chop and throw everything in a pot and then just fucking wrap it up in a burrito. I thought, we're done. That's good. We're going to eat it. It's fantastic. And I guess if you're in jail, that's a good way to make burritos. You know? You're making toilet wine and jail cell breakfast burritos. That's how you would do it.
Oh my God.
But there's this whole step where I got to cook stuff, folks. I mean, Jesus Christ. Who do these people think I am? The Pioneer Man? No. Actually, the Pioneer Man is out baling hay and roping cows while his wife gets a television show and makes noodles. Good for you, all-American family. She's got like 7 kids. Just this fucking baby factory who can make good food. And they gave her a television show. But she's awesome. So I get her recipe, and here's the thing. She didn't have me just make. And this is why. She wasn't just like, hey, make these potatoes and they're boring. I didn't even realize until after the fact what I was doing. So I have to dice up, I diced up a whole fresh jalapeno, and I diced up red pepper and bell pepper, and then I didn't put the bell pepper in. I put a little in because Jill doesn't like green peppers. So I'm like, all right, I'll compensate with the jalapenos and red pepper. So I went red pepper, jalapeno, onions, and then seasoned it with garlic and salt and stuff, and then potatoes. And I had to boil the potatoes, and then I had to throw them in a frying pan, and you had to brown them all and crisp them all up. Folks, I didn't just make potatoes. I made potatoes O'Brien. Yeah, that's right. I got up my shillelagh and I fucking whipped it right the hell up. Because I'm half Irish. I can fucking knock out potatoes O'Brien. By the way, let's talk about that for just a second. There's a show on CBS called The McCarthys. Okay. Now, I don't know. Look, all I know is Jill and I saw the billboard, and even she was just like, what is that? Because and then I saw the commercial for it, and it's just 5 people yelling at one another in Boston accents. And I guess they're supposed to be Irish Boston people. I don't fucking know. I know Laurie Metcalf is the mom, and they're taking a photograph that old Saw where they're all, I don't even know what year this is supposed to be set in. Do they still have cameras that you can set and then run away and then they take your photo? I have no fucking clue. Everybody takes photos with phones now. You know what I mean? Take selfies with your family. Fuck that. You don't need to have some fucking crazy portrait on a plastic couch. This isn't 1967. You're not at my grandma's house. What the fuck? But in this commercial, that's the joke construct they decided to use. So this entire loudmouth brawling Irish family, and they're all fucking leprechauns, and they're all sitting on a goddamn couch. Because that's the thing, dude. They're all, I knew they were Irish from the jump. Because I think one of them is eating just a potato, like a raw potato, and the other guy's got a flask, and the other guy's just winking, and he's got his fists up like the fucking Notre Dame Fighting Irish guy. They're all wearing Notre Dame sweatshirts. It's just bad. One guy has a flashlight, and he's going, leprechaun. I mean, they're all, it's just that where you're like, okay, we get it. Fucking Ireland, we get it. And then they're fucking yelling and brawling in the commercial. And I'm just like, this could not be more heavy-handed if fucking House of Pain knocked on my door and jumped in and just sang Jump Around while I watched it. I mean, it is that fucking brutal. It's that Boston. I'm just waiting for the Dropkick Murphys to come to my house while I'm watching the commercial and just go, you're shipping up to Boston, you're going to watch this fucking show. That's it. That's it. I think my name is Sully now, just from seeing the commercial. So and so then I see the billboard for that fucking show, and it's, again, it could not be more blatant. It's the family, and they're all kind of they look like, we love Boston and fighting. And then but the name, the McCarthys, the MC is green, and there's a shamrock above the McCarthys. And I know they thought that they were doing a good thing. But here's the thing. You need to make the entire McCarthy's green, because otherwise you've just called them all mix. Now,
Yep.
Perhaps that was your subtle message to America to watch this group full of stupid mix yell at one another. But I got it loud and fucking clear the second I saw it. I was like, oh, they're mix. Because that's all that's green is the MC, Mick, a shamrock and Mick. And I'm like, oh, they're mix. Oh, I get it. You guys are fucking scumbags. Why would you even do that? But they did. Yeah. Well, that's there's that show Blackish, and it's literally on the billboard, if you would have had the black just be black or in handcuffs. If you would have done that, you would have been just wow, guess what? I get it. All right. So nothing subtle at all. Literally nothing subtle. And there's nothing subtle at all about television or any of that stuff on network television. I don't know who's watching network television. I don't know who's sitting there and tuning in the Big Bang Theory. I don't know anyone out there besides Emerald who says Bazinga, and he only says it because he can't remember that he says Bam. I couldn't remember it earlier. I was lost. I said, what did I boom and bang?
Yeah.
I picture Emerald in his house 20 years ago and just going, boom! No, that's not a good one. They'll think that the fucking stove exploded. Bang! No, that sounds like a gunshot. That's kind of violent. Bang. No, but bag? What does he say? I forgot now. Bam, there it is. Okay. How do I forget that? I made the Great Rubble joke. All right, so.
The Great Rubble joke of 2014.
Not to be confused with the Great Rubble joke that I've made every other year of my life. I'm like Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam puts out a single for their fan club every year that nobody else gets. They're just dude, here's a single for you that nobody has access to. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Until it's on Napster.
Well, I mean, that all, yes. But I mean, they anticipate that. But I will also tell you this. It's like the movies from the Oscars. They're all numbered. And you have a number for the 10 Club, and if they'll be able to find it somehow, and I don't fucking know. All I know is Pearl Jam has a lot better security department than the United States government. That seems ridiculous. I mean, literally, Pearl Jam can find out who uploaded their fucking Christmas single from 2001 and take them and kick them out of the 10 Club. Meanwhile, here, Ebola patients are getting on planes. At every turn. Why do I have to hear that story now every day? And just, my favorite thing is sort of hey, that nurse should have known that she shouldn't have flown. Why the fuck should she know? She helped the guy with Ebola, and then she had to get on a plane. It's up to you guys to stop the Ebola people from getting on plane. Look, when was the last time you got on a plane? And the sick people went, well, I can't be bothered to take this fucking plane. No, bullshit. An entire plane is a flying petri dish every time you fucking get on it. All you got to hope is that it's somebody with a cold and not Ebola, for fuck's sake. And you can't catch Ebola on a plane. You can't. Everything I've read tells me that I can't. I understand you out there are now panicking and you're listening to me in your hazmat suits, and good for you. I think that's fine. But everything I've read about Ebola tells me that it's not that kind of contagious. Even if an Ebola guy came up and vomited in your face, you wouldn't get it. By the way, I got to ask you something. If an Ebola patient comes up and vomits in your face,
You might.
you probably have to hope you're not in a plane at that point. That was my guess. Actually, I apologize. You can get Ebola if an Ebola patient vomits in your face. So by all means, avoid that.
Yes. Oh, God.
Look, the open mouth kissing with the Ebola people, I think we got to put that on a shelf for a while, too. Don't lick their wounds. Don't lick their open sores. Oh, speaking of wounds and open... Christ. Let's talk about this for just a second. Dudes. At the oldest building in Hollywood today, there was a standoff. A Mexican standoff. There was an old-fashioned battle between two long-time mainstays in my life. There was a battle between laziness and fear. Because I came here to the oldest building in Hollywood, and I should tell you this. I pulled up, and our friend Lily Von Stupp, who's the producer of this show, this week. Last week it was the HR-46. I think that's what it was called. I don't know. I had a cyborg in charge last week. Oh, I should talk about that too for just a second, because people, remember I said that Gio wrote me and he's like, dude, it sounded like John Connor was totally hysterical. A lot of other people contacted me, and I'm not even joking. There's probably 15 people who wrote this either via Facebook or my email. Hey, Mike, I enjoyed the show this week. Are you all right? Like genuinely asking if I'm okay. Like one guy said it sounded like a suicide note. And I'm like, well... And I don't know if I wrote him back yet, because again, I'm still trying to kill myself. However, I think I should tell you that I made a conscious decision to speak like that last week. You know, I mean, I actually chose to kind of dial it back a little bit and try to be more low key, because it was just me in a fucking room, folks. I mean, it was just, there was absolutely nobody to play to except the fucking walls and the HR-46, and he was not having me. He did not like me at all.
Fuck at any moment.
He was ready to quit. So, but there was nobody to make laugh. So I kind of made a decision to just kind of talk, and then it turned into what it turned into. And I knew I had to hit, hold on, I kicked a chord. I had to find out exactly what the tenor of the show was going to be, or the tone. And I didn't know. So I talked, and I just talked that way. It just didn't seem right to be me. And I was me, but I was a different me. There's a lot of me's, folks. Oh my God. We'll get back to chef me in just a second. But right now we're talking about solo in a room podcasting me. We're talking about here's my favorite thing too, by the way. I'm sitting with Belknap. I should have mentioned this on the show last week. And he's in the room with me. We're in the Never Not Funny palatial estate. We're in their studios. And of course I asked Matt, can we turn the video on? No. Can I touch this? No. Like, they don't want me to do anything. And also I will tell you this. I had a real concern that Jimmy would not be happy about me doing this. And I wouldn't blame him, kind of. I mean, it's his studio. It's where he works from. And I wasn't sure. Again, I haven't talked to him in a while, and so I didn't know if it would be looking like I was coming along and being like, hey, can I insinuate upon your fantastic success and use your desk? I mean, it just seemed weird to me. And also, I will tell you this. I didn't... part of me also didn't want to do it there, because it would be looked upon like little brother had to come back and big brother had to help him out. And I know it sounds fucking dumb, but that's just, hey, man, look, that's what's in my head. It's in my head. But luckily, I called Matt instead of Jimmy, because if it would have been, I would have called Jimmy. It would have been a fucking awkward conversation of me going, oh, Jim, is there maybe I could? And then Jim would go, yeah, it's fine, idiot. That's exactly what he would say. But in my head, I would make it fucking strange. But instead, I texted Belknap. I'm like, are you available? And he got me back. And then he was like, let's do this. So then I walked into their studio. And of course, like, can I touch this? Can I use this? No. And then while we were sitting there, the phone rang. His phone rang and he answered it. And he's like, hey. And Matt's talking. And he goes, no, I'm actually sitting here with Mike Schmidt right now. Yeah, no, he had a podcasting emergency. So he's here and we're helping him out. And that's my favorite thing of all time. I almost called the show that last week, Podcasting Emergency, because it was such a fucking hysterical thing to say, because it boiled down our world to nothing. Like, it was just this, there's nothing at all that's important about what I do. There's nothing at all impressive or interesting about it. It's just like, oh, dude, he had a podcasting emergency, so he's sitting at our desk instead of another desk. Oh, Jesus. We had to have our robot help him out because his robot is unavailable. So sure enough, man, it just made me laugh, and he hung up the phone, and I go, is he cool with this? He goes, yeah, why wouldn't he be? And I'm just like, because I'm stupid, and I think he wouldn't be, of course. But let's talk about that for just a second real quick. I went to New York, and I got a lot. I'll tell you stuff about it later, but I just got to tell you this thing because it just popped into my head. I got a shave in New York, like a straight razor shave. And Jill and I have always I've always kind of talked about it, and she's always been like, yeah, that would be kind of cool if you got one of those. And I'm like, because I like them. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we always kind of kept our eye out for a place. And we found, when we were in Wisconsin, we looked for places. We walked into a joint in fucking Wisconsin to get a straight razor shave. And I'm not kidding. This fucking old school barber dude just looks up, and he makes like a panicked face. He's like, he's cutting someone's hair. And we go, hey, we're wondering if you do straight razor shaves. And he's like, them are illegal. And both of us are like, what are you talking about? He's in Wisconsin. Those are illegal. Can't do those. Like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. None. If I'm only going to trust one of you fucking boozed up hose bags to fucking put a razor to my throat, then you should be able to do it.
Gee, I can't imagine why it's illegal.
Serious, the entire town is a juice bag. Why not? Everybody, I mean, I guess it's just hard to shave a guy with a razor in one hand and a fucking flask in the other. That's the only reason it's illegal.
No, that's not.
So he told me it was illegal, but then we went to other places in Wisconsin. They're like, no, we just don't do that, but there might be a place on the other side of town that does it. Like, everybody's got that fucking weird game where they're sending you all over the place. So then we're in New York, and we found a place, and I was like, they do straight razor shaves. They do straight razor shaves. And we poked our head in. It was $50. And I was like, well, I have a razor, you know, that sort of thing. And also, honestly, I'm trying to get Jill to do it. I'm like, hey, I go, hey, would you do that? And she's like, really? And I go, yeah. I go, that would be like really great. Like, have her like sit on my lap and like face me and just like, and fucking shave me. And she's just like,
don't use a real knife and do that naked.
Well, I won't use a real knife. No, there'll be a razor and stuff, but there might be nudity involved. No, dude, that's the move. But I'll tell you what, though, that would not be a clean fucking shave. I can tell you that right now. That would not be a clean shave.
How did Mike die?
You know what? Well, happy. That's how Mike died. Because that's happening. It's gonna happen. But sadly, she wants $50. All right, so like, all right, I'll tuck it in your garter. Oh fuck, how great would that be? Just in a garter, literally nothing but a garter, and just fucking sat on my lap to shave me. Yeah. All right. So it was $50. I'm like, I can't. But then, the fourth day we were there, we were walking on Fifth Avenue, and we took a turn somewhere. I don't know. We were by a halal cart, and there was a fucking hole in the wall. It was like, New York, where they literally they rent a storefront doorway, and it's like they're cutting hair in it, And I was like, whoa! I go, they do shaves, $20. So I'm just like, dude, $20? You're kidding me? And so we walked in, and she goes, will you do it? I go, yeah, of course I'll do it. So we walked in, and it was these Armenian dudes. And I sat down, and he's like, all right, are you ready? And I says, yes. And he's like, what do you want? He goes, I can do this. I can go. Do you want me to trim up? He wanted to trim up my beard, like my goatee and the sideburn things. And I go, and he's like, what? And I go, I don't know. I go, do I? I don't know if I want that. And he's like, well, yes. He goes, that's why you are here, for a shave and for a trim. And I go, but I don't want it to be too, because here's why. All right, folks, I still have fat guy head. In my head, I think if I shave off my goatee, I will look like a fat monster or a giant infant. Because in the old days, when I would shave off my goatee, it happened once before when I was doing stand-up. It was so bad. I was trimming and I nicked it, and this is not even a joke. I looked like Rush Limbaugh because I had like the same smile and a little gap in my teeth. I looked like his son. Like I even when I said it on stage and then I smiled, the place went crazy because they were like, oh my God, you do. Because I had like this fleshy face and all that. And so now in my head, I think if I lose the goatee or whatever, I would lose character and all that. Even though my face is more angular now and there's certainly more stuff happening, I can't give myself over to losing it yet. And I felt that trimming it too closely would lead me to be looking strange, and I'd be overwhelmed by chin, and I don't want to fucking do that. I mean, I'm fat, and I've been fat fucking forever, and so anything I can do to try to lessen that is what I do. So I was like, He's like, well, why not? Why wouldn't you do that? And I go, well, I don't know, because it's like it's got to be thicker so it doesn't like my face. It like kind of. And he's like, I don't understand. Well, he goes, let me. And I look at Jill and I go, what do you think? She goes, honey, yes, let him do it. It's fine. I was like, really? She goes, yes, you'll be gorgeous. Just do it. And look, if you've got a beautiful woman telling you you're going to be gorgeous, you do whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. She could have said, yeah, shave your head. I'm in. So he took the razor, and I should have asked him. He took a trimmer, and I didn't even ask him what guard it was on or whatever, but he just trimmed up my fucking, and I just saw hair flying everywhere. He just fucking trimmed the shit out of my face. And he finished, and then he's like, all right, he's like, now if you want, I can go ahead and match these. Now here's why I will tell you this. I have, you know how everybody says they have a good side? Well, I do. I have a good side. The right side of my face works. Left side of my face, mess. Jigsaw puzzle. Terrible. Because the right side is where I have like the children's wading pool dimple. I've got a starter kit dimple on the left. But the hair on my face, like the beard, it grows thicker on the right side of my face. So the sideburn that kind of goes up toward my ear is thicker and it looks better. It looks more like a racing stripe. On the left, it's kind of patchy and light, and even the hair color is light. So it really never matches. I try to keep it as thick and the same size, but if you were to look closely, and who does, you would see that it kind of doesn't really match. I mean, it matches in length and it matches in the thickness, but honestly, it doesn't. So so he's like, well, what if I just trimmed all that and I could do this and I can match the one on the right to match the one on the left? I go, no. He's like, what do you mean? And I go, no. Because I want the one on the right to match the one on the left, but I want you to fix the left one so it matches the right one. And he's like, but no. He goes, you could see it does not grow the same. And I go, exactly. So I don't want to lose the one that looks good. And he goes, but then it does not match. And I go, nobody notices that it doesn't match except you and me. And he's like, well, why don't you want me to trim it? I go, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't decide. And he's like, well, why not? Then I go, because I'm weird. And he goes, don't be weird. And I'm like, where were you when I was 9? Jesus Christ. It was such a perfect amount of just contempt and also like he was reaching out to me. Just don't be weird. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess. Okay. And, and then he put the fucking hot towel on my head, and then he put the shaving cream on, and Jill took a photo. She like two or three photos of me with the fucking thing on my head. And it was just steam rising. It's just awesome. And then I will tell you this, it's a $20 job, so he didn't exactly, I mean, I've walked out of those places before where you could slide a dime across my face. I mean, it is just so close and sharp and perfect. And he shaved me like I would do myself in my shower. Like I actually get a closer shave with my 4-blade than he gave me with his straight razor. He blazed through it super quick because they were turning people over, and I understood that. It was only $20, so I couldn't bitch. And he cut me too. He cut my face, and so he kept like putting unguent or whatever the fuck on it to try to dab it away, but it kept bleeding to the point where Jill's like, I got to get a picture of you like you're bleeding. And I was like, all right. So, and there's a couple of pictures of me, like we're on the subway and you can see there's this big fucking like blood thing on my face. But when we left, like, Jill, she was like, yeah, she goes, that's how you need to trim your beard from now on. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, because usually it's like thick, like in your goatee. And I go, yeah. I kind of keep it that way. She's like, yeah, don't. No, because it looks much better now. Like it really looks better. And I was like, all right. Because again, dude, when you got a girlfriend, you don't control your own face. So, I mean, I'm in. I'm serious. I'll do what I'm told. That's how I work it. You don't. So that's fine. So I have to I'll be trimming my beard like shorter now, but I still got to get around the fucking sideburns and nonsense. I don't know. They're not even really sideburns. I guess they're chops. They're like kind of like, no, mutton chops are from the bottom. They're racing stripes on my chin. That's all they are. Like, you know what they are? They're fucking handlebars. All right, so.
Potatoes.
Listen, I make potatoes. I made potatoes O'Brien. So I'm making potatoes, and it's with onions and jalapeno and fucking peppers, and because again I cannot fuck up this breakfast burrito, and I'm not a scrambled egg man. I make over easy eggs usually, but I'm following the Pioneer Woman's recipe. I threw on a cowboy hat and I baled some hay and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do this, and I make just this fuck ton of potatoes, and I put those to the side, and then I make the eggs, and I got to fold those, and I crisped up the bacon, and then I broke the bacon into the eggs, and then I put the potatoes in there, and I folded it all up, and I started making it, and I'm just letting it caramelize, and I'm looking at it, and then I made the tortillas on her stove, and then I wrapped up. We didn't buy burrito tortillas. I bought like bigger soft taco ones so we could just make small because I'm not gonna eat a whole fucking giant burrito. But and then we had this really fucking spicy hot sauce that we got in San Francisco, and we brought that out. And I mean, the bottom line, dude, is I am a goddamn cook. Like, I mean, it was so good. It was so goddamn good. She ate it and she looks at me, she goes, I think I like breakfast burritos. I'm like, you're goddamn right you like breakfast burritos. And you knew you liked them before because you like breakfast and you like burritos. So you just combine them and you like breakfast burritos. That's all. That's it. Literally, breakfast burritos are just breakfast with a suitcase. I mean, that's all it is. If you like breakfast, good. Now you got a carrying case. Perfect. So that's what it was so good. God damn, it was good. So I made that. It was awesome. So I've made steak at her place. I cooked out steak and I made that slaw. Last time I was there, or a few times, I made a watermelon and fennel salad with it was so good. And we had that with another steak that I cooked out. I chili dipped that steak a little bit. It was too rare for her. You don't want to put a steak back on the flame. I felt terrible. And then I made breakfast burritos. And what was that? Oh, so then I was at her house last week, or 2 weeks ago or whatever. And it was cold. It was like 55 degrees or 50 degrees by her place. And she's like, oh my God, at night it's like there's frost warnings and it's freezing. And I said, well, I'm going to make chicken soup. And she's like, okay, well, like, I go, no, homemade chicken soup. She goes, you can make that? I go, yeah, of course I can make that. I have the internet. You know what I mean? Because I used to make chicken soup when I worked in a restaurant, so I know what to do. But the problem is, I made chicken soup when I worked in a restaurant. So I was making chicken soup for 4 days. I mean, literally, I was making enough soup for customers for 4 days. It was like this fucking giant stock pot. So, and again, Jill must hate it when I'm like, hey, I can do that. Because inevitably, we have to go to Walmart and we have to buy things. Like we do, because that's close by her place. I mean, it's like, so that's literally, because she lives in the fucking boondocks, so it's either Piggly Wiggly or Walmart. And if I need a stock pot, I need to go to fucking Walmart. So I had to buy a big fucking like Dutch oven stock pot. Dude, I bought a butter dish at that Walmart. Fuck Walmart too, by the way. Let's get into this real quick. Because I had to buy a goddamn butter dish and they only had glass butter dishes. And Jill uses it. She's very nice and she's a wonderful girlfriend. But at the same fucking time, every time she takes it out, she just goes, honey, this butter dish. And I'm like, I didn't build it, for fuck's sake. I bought it at Walmart. If we lived anywhere else that had a different store, I would have gotten a different fucking butter dish. But instead, I went to Walmart. This is what they had. Why did that? Raise your hand and ask.
I need a butter dish.
I have a butter dish and I'm a fucking bachelor.
Why?
For butter. Done, right? Your argument is fucking ceased. You have no comeback to that.
I feel like I'm on the internet right now and I just have to walk away from this post.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm not getting sucked into this. Your response is, because I have a butter dish.
You asked why I need a butter dish. Because butter.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you can't. Where am I going to put butter? Tell me where I'm going to put butter. Honestly, if I didn't have a butter dish, you tell me where it goes.
I can't even begin to talk to
you. Have no answer.
Because you just rewrapped the end of it and you put it back in the box.
If you want your butter to taste like everything else in the fridge, that's what you do. If you're a barbarian who doesn't mind the taste of onion inside your butter on your toast, if you're a heathen who doesn't have a box of Arm & Hammer baking soda and doesn't mind that your butter absorbs all of the tastes and odors of your fucking fridge, then that's what you do, Lily Von Stupp.
You're right.
But if you're a grown-up, you put your butter in a butter dish.
Did Emerald teach you that?
Bam! I hope he doesn't ban my butter dish. It'll break into 1,000 pieces. I don't even know you anymore. Honestly, that's the answer. Why butter dish? Because butter. That's why. But Walmart, how do you not? Again, you're Walmart, okay? You specialize in destroying the oppressed. That's who you are as a people. That's who you are as an organization. How do you not have more than one butter dish on the shelf? Dude, crack the whip in that sweatshop and make a plastic version of your butter dish. Honestly. You got 14 old people at the fucking front of the store. Have them craft a butter dish for me, for fuck's sake. I don't need to shake their hand and say hi to those motherfuckers. Make me a butter dish. Like the butter dish you grew up with, Wilford.
It was glass.
It was not, Mel. We didn't use none of that to do plastic. When I grew up, we used glass. Shut the fuck up and make me a plastic butter dish, Mel. Tired of it. Tired of this lack of choice. You literally have 141 kinds of dog biscuits. Make me a butter dish out of a space-age polymer, you fucks. You know those smiley faces on your signs? They're all lies until you make me a separate butter dish. Prices are falling. You know what is not falling? My standards. Make me a plastic butter dish. I got a girlfriend who gives me the queer eye every time she opens up her goddamn cabinet. Because the two of us, honestly, she and I are just waiting for it to tumble down and break. That's all we're waiting on. And then her gigantic beagle will eat the glass and the butter. Oh my God. Her dog is a monster. Her dog, I don't even think it's a dog. I think it's a Roomba with a Snoopy costume on it because it just fucking, anything on the ground gets fucking inhaled. Oh my Christ. You can't drop anything in the house. And it's tall enough to where, like, Tawny is her name, and she, like, jumps up. She can get to the counter, so if you leave anything right on the counter, she'll totally eat it. Like, we had a bag of fucking chocolate in bed. Let's not get into that. But we had a bag of, like, because there's this fancy chocolate place by her. And it became a tradition when we started to go there. So we would get this fancy chocolate that they had, and we brought a bag of chocolate, and I left it on the headboard, and then we went to get showered or whatever the fuck we were doing, and we came back, and it's just gone. I mean, just destroyed. There's just shards of bag and memories, like, all over the fucking ground. Just maybe the very aroma of chocolate itself may have still been in the air. But this dog ate like a fucking creme brulee, a piece of creme brulee chocolate, and I think it like a peanut butter. They have an Elvis thing with peanut butter banana. Dude, Tawny went off. She just went off. And the thing is, Tawny is like a dog who pretends that she likes you, and but she doesn't. She just thinks you have food on you, or she can smell your breath. And I'm not even joking, dude. She'll like come up to me and she'll be like, "Yay!" And I'll be like, "Yay, Tawny!" And she's like, "Dude, what did you eat?" And she'll smell my mouth. I'm like, "Aha! Get away, weird Roomba with a beagle costume on." So I made this breakfast burrito, and fucking Jill loved it. So then I said, I'm going to make soup. And again, like I said, when I say to Jill, I'm going to make soup, she's like, okay, that's awesome. But then we have to go to 9 stores and buy everything. And I'll tell you this, I don't know where they get bay leaves. But I know that I am single-handedly keeping the industry afloat. Because every recipe I make has bay leaves, and every time I say that, I have to go buy a jar of bay leaves. And like, finally, I'm like, Jill, I got to get bay leaves. She's like, oh my God. She goes, I have a cabinet that's just filled with bay leaves. That's it. We don't need any more bay leaves. All I have are bay leaves. And I was like, you're sure? Like, because I don't want it. Because again, I follow a recipe, so I'm making stuff. And I can improvise some stuff, but you can't improvise a bay leaf. What the fuck am I going to throw in there? A fucking, a oak leaf from outside? Or like,
No.
I can't be like, hey, you know what? I don't have any bay leaves. Well, I'll just toss a pork chop in there. I mean, it's not the fucking same. Because I'll be honest, I didn't know what bay leaves taste like. All I know is every recipe I make needs bay leaves. And needs them now. Mars needs bay leaves. So I'm just like, I got to get bay leaves. I got to do this. I got to make this happen. So then she's like, dude, we totally have bay leaves. And I'll tell you, oh, dude, get this. All right. I get it. Before I even do this, she's going to fucking shoot me. We were at her house. And we were getting ready to go to New York. She and I are always late for the airport. I mean, always. And it's because we just want to spend time with one another. And we're like, oh, we can totally make it. And then, cut to us at the airport with her on my shoulder and me sprinting, carrying her bags and trying to get her to security before anybody stops us. I mean, it's just that fucking crazy. So we were getting ready to go to New York from her house, and we're packing stuff, and we woke up and we did some stuff, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna get moving, and we're gonna go, and she's got a shower and I got a shower, and we get up and we're packing and we're packed, and she's getting ready to go, and I don't know what happened. I went into her cabinet to get something. I think I was getting something for Tawny, and she made a comment. She's like, oh, I think it's by the salad dressing. And I looked up on the shelf, and she's got a shelf that's like almost exclusively salad dressing on the left hand side. So I go, Jesus, that's a lot of salad dressing. You want to put any of it in the fridge? And she's like, no, there's some in the fridge too. She goes, I just get that because she'll go shopping and just buy extra stuff and put it in the cabinet, But she also, and I think that's just because she hates going to the fucking store, because she goes to the store with me and she's like, I just want to get out of here. She's just tapping her foot and walking around, and I'm like, all right, fine. Whereas I walk up and down every goddamn aisle and I'm like, hey, do we need capers? Nobody needs capers. Except the Keystone Cops. So I'm looking through and I'm trying to find stuff in the store all the time. Well, then I go into her cabinet and I see this salad dressing and I go, honey, I go, oh my God, Thousand Island? That's disgusting. I go, and you shouldn't have it in the cabinet, right? And she goes, no, it's stored on the shelf in the store. And I go, yeah, but just put it in the fridge just to be safe. And I pull it down and I go, man, this looks like a mess. Because it didn't, the Thousand Islands had merged into about 6. There were really only 6 islands in the bottle. There were no Thousand Islands because it was chunky when I tipped it over and I was like, oh my God. I go, honey. Because it's, I think Thousand Island is mayonnaise based. I have no idea. All I know is I will never eat food with a decimal point in it. That's what I'll tell you. All right? I don't need a number in my food. Unless it's like a Chinese special. So Thousand Island dressing, dude. And I pull it down and I look at it and I go, honey, this looks grim. And it's also, Thousand Island dressing is orange. And I'm with Billy Bob Thornton. He's scared of orange stuff. I'm with him. I'm totally with him. Like, I'll eat oranges. I love those. But orange food is kind of, that's in play at all times. Unless it's pumpkins, I suppose. Dude, we bought pumpkin Oreos when I was at Jill's house. Oh, my God. First of all, fuck you, Oreo, for ruining everything. I'm trying to be a human being here, all right? I'm trying not to be weird, Oreo. I'm trying not to be weird. And then you come at me with your fucking 5-finger death punch of fucking new Oreo flavors? Holy God. Dude, I was in there. They have peanut butter Oreos. Now, I don't buy those, and here's why. Because anybody who tries to make anything with peanut butter in it is always kind of a failure. Like Nutter Butter cookies, I hate them. I think Jill loves them. I just don't get them because to me, just because you shape it like a peanut doesn't mean it tastes like peanut butter. I think, and honestly, that's your weakness, motherfucker, because you wanted to try to convince me that it tasted like peanut butter, and you're like, let's totally shape it like a peanut and fool everybody. And you did. You fooled most. You fooled most people. I would much rather have 2 Ritz crackers with Jif peanut butter on them. That's much better. That's perfect because that's real peanut butter on a real crispy surface. And oh my God, do I love a crispy surface. When that guy finished shaving me, my face was a crispy surface. Oh, it was so good. But I would rather have, that's real peanut butter, man. Any fake peanut butter, it tastes fake. It always does. Like those ice cream peanut butter, or no, those peanut butter sandwiches with cheese crackers and all that shit, always tastes phony. It doesn't taste good because there's sugar in it. They do that. Instead of just making peanut butter, they throw sugar in it because of preservatives to try to keep it on the fucking shelf longer. So I'm not a Nutter Butter guy. Yes, just because you carved it out of it and make it look like a peanut, I don't care. You're not going to fool me, goddammit. They used to have a Nutter Butter guy, too, selling Nutter Butters. It was like, he looked like Willy Wonka, but he was a peanut butter dude. You remember him? He looked like Mark the Bird Fidrich selling me cookies. Not a fan. So I'm not a Nutter Butter guy, and I don't like peanut butter anyway. So when peanut butter said they were making Oreos, I'm like, nah, can't do it. Because I knew it would just taste phony. I knew it would, you know what? I apologize. It wouldn't just taste phony. It would taste phony baloney. That's how strong I get. That would be some phony baloney Oreo nonsense. So then I was in Walmart at 4:30 in the morning in Wisconsin, because that's what I do. And I'm walking through, and I go over to the cookie aisle, because again, I'm that guy. I have to go look. Dude, I search for snacks. Like, I just do it. It's so stupid, but I try to, and if there's new snacks, I buy them. And so again, the thing is, we open them, we eat 2 fucking chips, and we put them in a drawer, and we never eat them again. Oh, except for one that I found. Oh my God, dudes. Look, I'm a snack man. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a goddamn snack man. That can't be denied. I've been a snack man for a long time. So when these dudes at fucking Big Snack just crank out all these new snacks, they know that they've got me on the leash. And I'll give them a day in court. I will give every snack a day in court. Unless it's got peanut butter in it, because I know it's phony. But most fucking snacks, I'm on board. I give it a shot. You got a dill pickle cruncher chip? I'm going to try it. You got a street taco flavored Dorito? I'm in. You got a mystery Dorito that has a question mark on the bag? I will buy all of them, for fuck's sake. Oh my God, I will buy all of them. I love guess what? I love it. If you just put out a product with no label on it and said, this is going to be delicious, I would buy it and eat it. I wouldn't even ask a question. I love magic food. Fool me, I dare you. So I went to the cookie aisle and I walked down. Oh, so I'll just tell you about I will tell you about a crunchy, a savory snack that you can enjoy. I saw it on the shelf and I saw it at Piggly Wiggly and I was like, oh my God. Because again, my girlfriend likes spicy stuff. So I'm like, oh my Christ, dudes. Now look. We've been together a long time. I've been on the internet at least 8 years, 7 on my own. So I think you know a little bit about me as a person. And if there's one thing you've learned over this ever-evolving amount of time, it's that I love Chex Mix. Now, I think that's clearly #1 fact in my bio. I love Chex Mix. You know what I love? Oh my God, here's what I love about Chex Mix. When I was a kid, we had a neighbor who used to make like Chex Mix, and they'd bring it over warm, like in an old school coffee can. And my mom would be like, oh, thanks, that's delicious. And she would give it to us, and the can would be warm from the fucking from the fucking Chex Mix. And then me and my 4 brothers we would descend upon this can like vultures on carrion. I mean, we would just destroy it. We would destroy it. And then the next day my mom would like open the can and there would be like 1 peanut in it. And she'd be like, what the fuck? But it didn't matter. I love Chex Mix. And also, homemade Chex Mix is different than store-bought Chex Mix. Like, they have so many different store-bought Chex Mixes now, and I will give them all a chance. But cheddar Chex Mix is really good, the one you buy in the store. But here's the one. Dudes. Here's the one that was my favorite up until recently. But here's the one that I would always buy. Bold Chex Mix. It's flavored with Worcestershire and onion and garlic, which are the flavors that you use when you make it at home. So when I would bring home the Bold, I would eat it. It tasted just like the one my neighbor made, except obviously not warm out of a coffee can. So what I would do oftentimes is I would buy coffee, dump it in the garbage, and dump the Chex Mix into the coffee can. And eat it out of there and pretend I was a child. Some of that story is not true. But I liked the Bold Chex Mix. It was my go-to Chex Mix. I was bold, friends bold. Until now. I'm at the Piggly/Wiggly in Wisconsin. And I'm walking down the aisle, and my eyes are captured by a green bag. And I think you know that, well, there's a second thing you know about me, other than my love of Chex Mix. It's that my favorite color is green. So if you put something on the shelf that's green, I will immediately turn my eyes to it, because my eyes are also green. It's like a green tractor beam. I see green, I look at it. Folks, Chex Mix has stepped up to the forefront. Now look, right next to the green bag, there's also another new flavor, Sriracha flavored Chex Mix. Now, good for you. If you like your Sriracha, if you like your Rooster sauce, then you grab yourself some Sriracha Chex Mix. And I will tell you this, yes, I grabbed a bag just because I got to try it, because my girl loves spicy stuff. But I was all about the green bag. Chex Mix has put out a habanero lime Chex Mix. Now listen, folks. There's a lot of people trying to do lime out there. The Fritos people. The Lay's people with a chili limon. But I bought this Chex Mix with high hopes, and I can tell you they were exceeded. Exceeded, motherfuckers. It seems weird to address you as such, but still. God damn, that was some good Chex Mix. It's like limey. It's so limey. It tastes like licking a sailor. God damn, is it limey. So delicious. So it's that good. And so then I bought, we bought like 5 bags and they're in our house. Actually, I think stuffed it in my suitcase for the plane. It's just awful. It's terrible. So Walmart did not have that. We found it at the Piggly/Wiggly. But then I went to Walmart and they had the habanero lime and it was like $2 cheaper than the Wiggly. And I'm like, fuck, scoop it up. So I did. But then I went down the cookie aisle. Peanut butter Oreos, no thank you. However, and I don't understand this conflict of interest. I don't know why Oreo would cut off their own nose to spite their Oreo-laden face. But right next to the peanut butter Oreos, Reese's peanut butter Oreos. Now those I will fucking buy. Because the Reese's people know peanut butter. So I bought the Reese's Oreos. I bought pumpkin spice Oreos. I bought lemon Oreos. And I bought caramel apple Oreos. Lemon, good. Pumpkin, good. Caramel apple, astonishingly good. Reese's peanut butter, worthy of murdering anyone who has them who will not share them with you. Lily is giving me the thumbs down. She does not care for any of those Oreos. She's a regular Oreo girl. Do you like double stuff, Lily? What about with your Oreos? You flipped me off. That seems weird. I think what seems even more weird is that you didn't see that coming, quite frankly.
I saw it coming. I just didn't think you'd really go there.
Why not? I did a russet potato fucking pun earlier. I have no shame this week.
Very true.
I'm just happy in the room when somebody else is breathing. Have the fucking HR-64 staring at me and just mercilessly ticking off seconds, waiting for me to leave the studio so the real professionals can come in and get their fucking job done. So yeah, fucking Belknap, he tells Jimmy that I got a podcasting emergency, and then he just hangs up and I goes, he okay with it? He's like, yeah, why wouldn't he be? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm weird. Don't be weird. So I think Jill likes that I make stuff And I love doing it. Like, it's like, because like I said, it's like, I did this, man. Awesome. You know, I want to be that guy, and it's fun to cook stuff. And I like cooking. I liked cooking when I worked in a restaurant. And here's, by the way, here's my secret to cooking. Let me go ahead and I'm going to drop this on you right now, folks. Get a pen. Someone got a pen? Someone got watercolors? Got any paint? Paint this. You want to do this. You want to make a poster of this and keep it in your kitchen. Right underneath that dance like no one's watching and laugh like you've never laughed before poster that you put up. Or that hang in there, baby, cat on a goddamn wire, or whatever the fuck you have in your kitchen. I don't know how you live your lives, folks. Perhaps you have a lot of folk art in there, because you are folks. Ha ha ha. So, here's the thing. Here's what I say to you. Whatever you're cooking, unless it's meat, cook it longer than you think you should cook it. Vegetables, potatoes, bacons, unless it's meat or eggs, cook it not even say a little. Cook it longer than you think. So then the vegetables get soft and there's more flavor imparted into whatever you're making. Now, if it's like a roast or a steak, then get your stopwatch out. Don't time a roast. Nobody wants to time a roast. But time a steak. That leads to the enjoyable minute steak, which we've all heard so much about. But don't time minute rice. No, you should time minute rice. Time rice. You got to time rice and meat. Dude, put your pen away. We're not having any posters. I'm done. Sorry, finished. So I had to make soup. I told Jill I was going to make soup. And again, like I said, that's always a great idea. But then poor Jill gets sucked into the buying of the things for the soup. So we had to go to the store, and she had the sniffles and stuff. And so I'm like, oh, dude, honey, I'm going to totally make you some soup. And then I got to go buy it all. And she's like, can we just go home? Like, she just wants to go home. But luckily, we went and bought stuff. And then I came home, and she didn't realize that, you know, I have to make chicken stock to make chicken soup. You can't just, you know, it's not like you can just snap your fingers. You can, but that's awful soup. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, folks. If you bring home soup ingredients and you snap your fingers, you still do not have soup. No matter how quickly you combine it into a bowl, you still need to do the cooking and the chopping and the thing. So that's what I did, man. I started making chicken stock, and and it's so funny. We went looking for stuff, and I go, I need a turnip. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I need a turnip. It goes in the stock. It's like, it imparts flavor. Because I know you're asking me, you're like, Mike, do you have a soup recipe? I don't really. I had to go find a chef. I had to find somebody who could help me out. I had to find somebody who could Sherpa me through some soup. He could Sherpa me. He could Bowser Koopa me.
Oh my God.
Bowser Koopa. I was there. I went, look, my good friend Tyler Florence decided to help me out with my soup. So I went and found Tyler Florence. We found some soup. We found some turnips. We found some bay leaves. Found bulbs of garlic. I made stock. And that was the thing, is like, she wanted soup, but she didn't realize it was going to take 9 hours for me to make soup. But it did, because I had to make the stock for like 3 hours. You know, I had to chop everything and get it started. And then, but dudes, your whole house smells like chicken soup. It's like cold out, and then your whole house smells like soup. That's all I wanted. Like, because we were trying to figure out what to make on Sunday for football. I was like, because she was going to just throw stuff in a crock pot. Because she makes really good chili, I guess. And she had made, oh my God, she made me like a fucking pot roast in a crock pot with like carrots and celery and onions. Oh, so good. And I was like, well, and I had made a crab dip. Did I tell you I made a crab dip when I was there? Dudes, I'm a fucking genius. I made crab dip that was awesome with Old Bay on top. I love Old Bay. Don't care for Old Michael Bay. Got to be honest. Found him a little tough to take, but Old Bay certainly I like. So I made a crab dip once, and she, oh dude, whatever. No, I'm cooking. I'm enjoying it. I love it. I just want to give her stuff. I don't want to make stuff and go, here, look what I did. That's all I want. I just want her to scratch me behind my ears and go, you're awesome. Yes, I am. Right? I'm great. I'm good. Do you think I'm good? Will you stay? Please? I make soup. I'll make soup if you'll stay. I'll make soup if you'll stay. I don't know who's dragging me away. So I mean, it's her sprinting away. So I made homemade chicken soup, and the whole house smelled like soup on Sunday. And then we watched some football while it was cooking, and then afterwards we watched Snapped, which is my new show besides Forensic Files. Snapped is like a version of Forensic Files that doesn't have the obnoxious narrator. Snapped is also a crime show where they're like, you know, it's killer couples or women in turmoil or whatever the fuck. I can't stop watching those shows now. She got me completely hooked. Fucking hooked on Snapped and Forensic Files, and fucking, it's insane. So before we went to New York, we're in her kitchen. And like I said, I pulled out that Thousand Island dressing. And I I looked at it and I was like, honey, this looks like gruesome. And I go, and I look, I don't like Thousand Island dressing as it is. All right. But this looked especially bad. So I said, we put this in the fridge, or like, where is this from? And she's like, oh, I don't know. You know what? Because she just moved into her new house. So she goes, yeah, I just packed up everything that was in the cabinets and I brought it over here. And I was like, well, didn't you like sort everything or throw stuff out or anything? And she's like, no. She goes, I just, you just kind of get everything out of the cabinets and out of the fridge. And you bring them over here. You put them in the new cabinets and the new fridge. And I'm like, all right. Well, so I look at the Thousand Island dressing, and it's, I should tell you, it's light Thousand Island dressing. And it's an orange package, and it just looks... Dressing should never look streaky. Do you know what that means? Like, there's dressing in the bottle, and when you pour it out, it should coat the thing, and then should all settle back into a dressing. Well, this is streaky. Like, it looked like dirty windows. It looked like you were storing salad dressing in a gasoline jug, like a see-through jar. It almost looked like a Molotov cocktail of Thousand Island dressing. I mean, it was gruesome. All right. So I look at it and I go, honey, and it's not opened. And I look at the label and I went, oh my God. She's like, what? Is it expired? I said, Jill, did you look at this before you like packed it at your old house? She's like, no, I threw everything in a box and brought it over here, and then we packed it. And she had a friend who put everything on the top shelf. Like, he was, he's really tall, and so he put up all of the salad dressing up on the top. She's like, yeah. She goes, I actually made fun of him because he put it where I couldn't reach it. I'm like, was it where you couldn't reach it in the other house? She's like, why? And I said, because take a look. And I handed her the bottle, and I pointed out the code date. And look, Thousand Island dressing has a shelf life. I imagine it's probably decent. They've done wonderful things with preservatives these days. But I wasn't prepared for October 3rd, 2014, to look at a salad dressing from September 15th, 2008, and wonder whether... I mean, at that point, it's not even... There's not even salad dressing. If you open it, there's a ghost in there. He will float out, and he will go inside you, and you will die 1,000 deaths. There's the Thousand Island ghost. It's actually Blackbeard's ghost. That's how it works with Thousand Island. If you keep it longer than 5 years, a pirate's ghost manifests itself in the jar. And if you open it up, he will swoop out and haunt you forever. And I showed it to her, and I'm like, September 15th, 2008. And she just looks at it, and she's like, and she just starts laughing. She's like, "Oh my God!" I go, "No, that's." I go, "That's sort of funny, but not really funny, because like, I don't know if you would have looked. I think you may have eaten this probably." And she's like, "Well, I couldn't reach it, so I probably wouldn't eat it." I'm like, "All right, good point." I said, "Did you do this with everything from your old house?" And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I go, "Did you look at any of the dates?" And she's like, "Well, no." I go, "Oh my God!" So I just started pulling down salad dressing and cake mixes, and I mean, dudes, she had 2009, 2010, 2008, 2000. I mean, all these old salad dressings. I'm pulling down, and I'm like, we're throwing this out. I just start throwing everything in a bag to the point where we have to double and triple bag it so I can carry it out to the garbage. It is just this festival of poison. That's all it was. It was a festival of poison. And I even said to her, I go, you know what we should do? I go, we should bake a cake with this and then use the salad dressing in the cake mix and then just give it to a neighbor you want dead. And honestly, you could never be blamed. Let's find somebody you want dead in this town and let's make them something out of all of this stuff from your fucking cabinet, and they will die and you will never be blamed. I mean, it was fucking terrible. I finally, because the 2008 was the first one I took out, and that was the grand champion. All right, that was the oldest thing in the cabinet. Until I went through salad dressings, I went through some cake mixes, I went through some brownie mixes, some hot chocolate stuff. I mean, I even told her, she goes, should I even open this? I go, no. I go, it's full of weevils. I go, right now, if you open that brownie mix, I guarantee there's weevils living inside it right now, plotting your demise. I can't believe that you let them live in there for so long. They are plotting your demise. You know what they were going to do? Those weevils were going to get together and kill you with Thousand Island dressing. That's how they were going to do it. They knew a shelf away was their their livelihood. A shelf away was your comeuppance, and they were going to grab it and bring it into your bedroom and just kill you. Just weevils with fucking Thousand Island dressing borne aloft on their weevil-like shoulders. That was your reckoning in that bottle. That was a bottle of reckoning. It was no longer salad dressing. That was a bottle of reckoning. with a pirate's ghost inside. So 2008 salad dressing, certainly the most grim discovery, until she pulls out this thing of baking chocolate. And I mean, look, I don't know any. I know I like to put chocolate in my face. That's about all I know about it. And I also know don't eat old chocolate. I know that because it gets worms and it gets all chalky and weird. That's why I have to have the latest expiration date I possibly can on my license plates of chocolate. Right now, I'm eating ones from September 2015. I'm ahead of the curve. So my chocolate's fresh a full year from now. But I pull out this baking chocolate. Dudes. February 2001.
No.
2001. You have ingredients from a pre-9/11 world in your cabinet. Honestly, you could have gone to New York and thrown this baking chocolate at the towers and brought them down. That's how... I told her we were leaving that day for New York. I said, we should just bring this and bury it at the Freedom Tower, just as like a nod. Forever.
Oh, man.
And there was something else from like 2004. And I'm like, oh my Christ. And she's like, that's before my son was born. I'm like, yes, it is. Why? Why is it here? Crazy. And I mean, I kept filling. And then I go, I got to get to the fridge. And again, I'm just pulling shit out of the cabinet and we're looking and we're laughing and I just keep putting it in the bag, and finally the bag's going to rip. I have to get a second garbage bag to double bag this and then we were going to triple bag it because then I go to the fridge and I start pulling stuff out. There's stuff in the fridge from 2010, 2009. I'm like, why is this even here? I mean, fuck me. I mean, it's bad, it's bad enough the fridge, I have a shelf of Chobani and chocolate, which is fine, and a shelf of chicken soup because I should tell you this, I made the chicken soup and she loved it and it was super delicious. But again, I can't scale back a recipe. I made an entire stock pot of soup for me and her. Her son won't eat it. So it was just me and her eating chicken soup, and we each had a big healthy bowl with egg noodles and carrots and everything. It was delicious. And then I literally had to go with 3 Tupperware containers to put it away. Like I just kept dumping it and dumping it. It was this never-ending pot of soup. It was the never-ending pot of soup. A kid flew by on like a dragon. That's what it was. I poured it out, and a kid flew on a dragon, flew out of the bottom of the pot. Fuck me, man. I got to learn to scale back a recipe. Actually, I don't need to learn anything. The Pioneer Woman and Tyler Florence need to explain to me how to cook for 2. Someday that'll happen. Until now, though, I'm making food for the entire Pioneer Woman's family. God, we ate those breakfast burgers. We ate 2 each, then we put the stuff in the fridge. Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. Fuck it, I'm going to say this. I don't care. When I made ribeye steaks, the last time I made steak for her, we made steak and we made baked potatoes. And they were really good. And then we had sour cream and butter, and we didn't finish them. And then we chopped up the potatoes and we wrapped them with 2 steaks and we put them in the fridge. And we knew we were going to eat them for breakfast when I left. Did I tell this story? Mm-hmm. They were in the fridge and I was like, there's breakfast the day I fly out. And we were like so excited. And this is around my birthday. And then we left. We went to the Wisconsin Dells. I didn't tell that story on here yet, did I? I got a lot of stuff to tell you guys. This season on the 40-Year-Old Boy. Stay tuned. Oh my God, so many coming attractions. So we went to the Wisconsin Dells, and she has a friend who dog sits for her. And we came home, and the food was gone. Like fucking Goldilocks style. Like the food was just gone. Like I totally Papa Beared it. And I'm just like, who the fuck's been eating my porridge? Like I was so pissed. Again, because both of us knew we couldn't wait to fry up steak and potatoes before I left. It was just going to be fantastic. And her friend ate the leftovers of 2 ribeye fucking steaks and 2 baked potatoes. And again, at first in my head, I was like, maybe her friend was overpowered by the Roomba with a beagle costume on. Because I've seen Tawny go to work, and she eats a ton of crazy stuff. I mean, she will just fucking eat everything. So maybe her friend went in the fridge to get a bottle of water, and then Tawny pushed her to the ground, leaped in, and grew thumbs and made the fucking steak for herself. I have no idea. I mean, I would find that a better story than you ate my fucking steak. How do you not ask? Let me ask you that question, man. How the fuck do you not ask? How do you not text somebody or call them and go, hey man, I just went in your fridge and I saw 2 ribeye. Because, dude, fuck. It wasn't Steakums, all right? These are fucking ribeye steaks. They're like fucking $15 each. And again, I'm not fucking Mr. Money. I'm not worried about cash. But at the same time, how do you not? That's the kind of shit that gets a roommate evicted. Like, really, it is. Or an ass whooping. If you've ever lived with anybody and they've eaten your fucking cereal, didn't you want to cut their fucking hamstrings? Didn't you want to just fucking Kathy Bates in misery and make sure they never got out of their fucking bed again? Leave my stuff alone, motherfucker. Do I have to put a note on my food? I'm 47 years old. My days of putting a note on my steak to keep you off of it are fucking done. Grow up and be a human being. Don't eat my fucking steak and potatoes. You ate steak and potatoes. That's another thing. It wasn't even like a bowl of fucking Crunch Berries. You ate 2 ribeye steaks and 2 fucking baked potatoes. Fuck. We came home and then, all right, and let me drop this on you. All right, I'll just say this because why not? Why the fuck not? Ate the food, right? Ate the steak and the potatoes. Didn't ask. Never asked, never contacted us to go, hey, is it okay if I eat this food? Hey, no, it wouldn't be. I'm on water slides in the Dells dreaming of eating that steak in 3 fucking days. Leave me alone. Sure enough, not only does she not ask to eat the food, do you know, I can't even spit this out with a fucking straight face. I mean, it's like the balls. Left the fucking dishes in the sink. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That shit a burglar wouldn't do. If a burglar comes in your house and eats your stuff, he washes the dishes as a fuck you, right? Doesn't he just do that? You eat my steak and potatoes and you leave the dishes for me to do, motherfucker? Are you kidding?
That's ballsy.
Such balls, right?
God, is that ballsy?
And I'm a terrible person. I mean, I think you know that I don't give a fuck if it's midnight. I want to call that person and go, what the fuck is your problem? Are you kidding with this?
What?
You ate an expensive meal and left me the fucking dishes to do? You're joking, right? Like, I half expected this person to come leaping out of a closet and go, ha, totally kidding. I wrapped everything in foil and I'll wash these dishes for you. You know what I mean? Like, something to take the edge off your jackassery. Are you fucking kidding me? You are the worst. Eating the food makes you terrible. Not doing the dishes makes you a war criminal. No, I don't think I'm wrong in making that leap. Fuck that. You ate my steak and potatoes? Fine, you're a dick. You left me the dishes to do? Right to Nuremberg for the trials. Either that or I'm going to Joan of Arc your ass and tie you to a stake and I'll cook you out and we'll see if anybody eats your fucking leftovers. 'Cause fuck that. The balls. Again, a roommate does that, you beat the shit out of that guy. We had a roommate once who was a fucking monster. He was terrible. I won't go into his name, but it was like, I lived with 2 other dudes, and I was sleeping on one guy's floor. It was like one of those fucking situations. So I'm living there, and this motherfucker, he never did his dishes. Like, he was just awful. He was so bad at it. Well, fuck it. I've talked about these guys. DJ. It was fucking DJ. It was when I lived with Craig and Ransom and DJ. I was sleeping on DJ's floor. So, I mean, it was nice that they let me in the house, I suppose. But I got along with Ransom and Craig, and that was fine. But DJ was a fucking monster. I mean, DJ was just, and he was just a slob. And he would bring home girls. This should tell you, like, how DJ got laid. Like, I mean, he would bring home girls from the club and bang them in a bed filled with his dirty clothes. Like, I mean, it was just, they had no standards at all. They just wanted to fuck the guy or whatever. And just, good for you. I'm glad you had magnetism. I can't even believe that she came into our fucking house, went into our kitchen, covered in Hustler centerfolds, and then still banged one of us. I mean, it made no sense. Anybody that I had sex with, I had to have sex with off campus because they would have come to my fucking house and would have drag. And also, well, I slept on the floor. That probably wasn't going to help. But fucking DJ would never do his dishes. He was just, and again, he was a child, like a grown-up child. So he would eat like SpaghettiOs and leave the can out and the dirty can opener, and then he would leave the plate without rinsing it and like all that fucking shit. And Craig and Ransom and I were fucking getting tired of it. So one day he fucking. For 3 days we didn't clean up after him, and he just kept stacking dishes in the fucking sink, like cereal bowls with milk and SpaghettiOs and like KFC fucking boxes and shit. And we just went, all right, fuck it, and we put it in his waterbed. We did not give a fuck. We scooped it all up, milk, fucking all of it, and we just put it right in his waterbed under his covers. Made the bed, fucking first time. We're like, yep, there you go, your bed's made. And he fucking came home that night. And he was just like, what the fuck? Who made my bed? And we're like, oh, we totally made your bed. And he's like, great. And he dove into his bed, his water bed, to just jump on it because he's a child. He did it every night. He just fucking did a headfirst dive, and you just heard clang, and like everything. And he was like, oh, and he pulls his covers back, and there is, I mean, it is 3 days worth of dirty dishes with milk and SpaghettiOs and fucking tomato sauce and fucking ramen, and it's in his fucking waterbed, spilled all over the fucking place. And we're all just like, yep. Tell me what he did. Tell me what he did.
Got mad?
Nope.
He didn't push it aside and go to bed, did he?
Oh, he didn't push it aside. He slept in it. He's just like, ah, ha, ha, it's hilarious, man. It's real funny. And we're just like, yeah, well, dude, fucking do your dishes. He's like, well, I'm not, I don't have to fucking do it. And we're like, yeah, you do. You do have to do your dishes. It's going to fucking happen all the time. And he's, well, I don't care. And he went to sleep in his pile of food and dirty dishes. He just slept in it. Slept in it. To prove a point? I don't know. But he moved shortly thereafter. Not even shortly thereafter. Actually, we spent the summer. His boys came and stayed with us for the summer. It wasn't even that shortly thereafter. It was like he cleaned it up finally, but to prove a point, he slept in this pile of garbage, and it was just like, dude. And then he never cleaned up at all. And it was literally, because that was the bullet. That was literally our bullet from our gun, where we're just like, this is going to teach him a fucking lesson. It's just going to be a stack, all of this fucking disgusting dishes in his waterbed. And we hoped he'd brought home a date. Like, we hoped some girl to fucking rail. But nope, it was just him. And he literally ran and dove into the bed. And you just heard this noise. And I can't believe like a fork didn't pierce the waterbed. It was just fucking crazy. And he laid there in his leftover filth. And again, I shouldn't talk. I'm sleeping on the ground in piles of his clean clothes. I mean, it's like I shouldn't, I made a nice little bed out of pants. You know what I mean? So I'm that fucking terrible guy too. And we've got a wall with underwear of the girls we've banged on it. We've taped them up. I mean, it's like, we're not good guys. He was just less good than the rest of us. 8 steak and potatoes left the fucking dishes. Are you kidding me? And look, I haven't evolved that much. I was more than willing to take those dishes over to her fucking house and put them in her goddamn bed. Because that's an awful move, man. Insane.
Did you tell her she's a dick?
No.
Oh.
Dude, that whole town is sad I stole their Jill. I mean, literally, I can't start no fucking brawl yet. She's been there her whole life, and it's like this interloper comes along, and everybody's like, who the fuck is this new dude? Everybody she knows, she's known forever. And then I show up, and they're just like, wait, you fell in love with the internet? That's fucking crazy. She's into the internet, Dino. I'll get into that at some point. It's fun. All right, so it's so weird to go to a town where the only person who likes you is the person who loves you. It's like so odd. That's a joke. Everybody likes me. They're very nice. The guy who works at the chocolate shop loves me. That guy thinks I'm great. I'm teasing. Everybody loves me, of course. They would love me even more if they could come over and I could cook for them. That's what I want to do. I just want to cook. I'll just cook a huge banquet for everybody in town, and they'll be like, oh, we love the internet. This guy's awesome. Because that's what I'll do. I'll Google it. I go, because I got to find a Sherpa. I got to find somebody who can make me a giant smorgasbord to make a town love me. Who can help me cook that up? No Tyler. Maybe the Pioneer Woman. She makes a ton of food. I mean, I make a ton of food already. But I need to cook like a big-ass dude, that's Rachel Ray territory, right? Don't you think? Rachel Ray territory? A big-ass smorgasbord with a bunch of Evo-O and a fucking Yummo bullshit. God damn it, awful. I can't even. Oh my God, dude! I totally want to just put those like fake sexy photos of her on my website, like or like on my Facebook page, and just be like, "This is Rachel Ray trying to look sexy," because she looks so sad and terrified. Literally, guards at Nazi concentration camps looked happier putting things in ovens. I mean, she looks so fucking bad. Oh,
Wow! I want to high five you, and I have a bad back. Holy shit!
come on, that's not bad. That's not bad, right?
That's horrible.
Oh, top of my head. However, the Nazi war criminals who put people in the still higher up on my list than the person who ate my fucking steak and potatoes. All right, so war criminal, clearly.
Oh man!
So last week we were trapped in a room with a robot, and we were talking, and we didn't know we didn't know what we were doing. What we did, we just were talking and trying to fucking kind of meander through it. But there's a lot of things that I should be talking about. There are things that have happened, things I've done. So I've got to try to parse them out, because I don't want to fucking unload on everybody some like long ass 4-hour show. And also I can't do that because Lily in the oldest building in Hollywood has now installed like a meter, like in a taxi cab, and she puts the arm down. So when it clicks to the top, I actually have to pay my fare and get out. So it's like, honestly, I got to do what I can to get where I can. I have cabs in the brain. I was in a lot of cabs in New York. I'll talk about New York. I'll talk about New York next week, right? I got a backlog. People are still writing me, and there's like, dude, what happened at your high school reunion? I'll tell you later. I'm alive. Shouldn't that tell you something? I'm not in jail, so the story can't be that good. Pending. But I'll tell you this, because this is something I wanted to talk about last week, but I'll talk about it now. I was part of the Los Angeles Podcast Festival.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I was. Lily, you know that. You've listened to this show before. You heard me plugging it and telling people all about it. I'll be getting to that shortly. Mm-hmm. The Podfest itself was not last week. What was it? September 26th, 27th, or no, 27th, 28th, 29th? 26th, 27th, 28th. All I know is my show was Saturday, the 27th, so I had to be there. But I wanted to go to the pre-party as well, which was Friday. We had the meet and greet. We got to meet people. And I will tell you this. Are you okay? What the hell's happening to your leg?
I was going to ask you if you got to greet them too.
Nope, just meet them.
Just meet them.
I greet nobody.
But you only got to meet.
I'm just a meter. Plenty of other greeters in town. You know what? I'm the meter because I'm independent podcaster, but all of the network podcasters got to greet everybody, so that worked out nicely. But I showed up. The show itself was on Saturday, but then, I went out to sushi on Thursday with our lovely friends Heidi and Raquel and Mel. We have our annual sushi outing. We went last year, and Suzanne Suze came last year, but could not come this year out for sushi. But then the four of us went. We had a good time, and it was really fun. And then I was going to go check out the layout of the hotel and see where my room was. And so they left, and I had to go home. And then I was like, well, fuck it, I'll double back to the hotel. So I went to the hotel, and I went to go check out my room, and they would not let me in to take a look at it. So it was a failed trip to the Sofitel, because it was at the Sofitel down across from the Beverly Center. Down in Hollywood. And then the show itself was Friday. The pre-party, the meet and greet was Friday. Oh, I should say this, on Thursday night, I believe it was, when I showed up to check out my room, the performance room, I walked out, and there was a listener, a fan. I don't want to say a fan, a friend, a guy who's a listener. His name is Ron. And Ron was there with his wife, and I won't say her name because I don't think she wants to get sucked into this circus. But she was super nice, and she let Ron say hi to me. But when I got out of the car and I turned around, Ron just goes, "Mike Schmidt." And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "My name's Ron. I'm a big fan. I listen to the show." And it was really cool to meet him. And he was in town to also go to a concert as well as the Podfest. And I will tell you this, Ron had hair. Ron had some hair that I was jealous of. I mean, it was just this crazy... I knew there was a problem when I got out of my car and I heard his hat screaming. I knew that was going to be a problem because it was trying to rein in all of that lushness. But I met them outside, and this is what this is what Podfest is. And this is why if you haven't been there, you need to come next year. You need to come one of the other years that they have it, if they have it again. I think they will. I think they should. It is a way for people who are fans of podcasts to get together and not only experience their podcasts, but also become friends with one another and connect and realize that we all have that in common. No matter what shows we like, we all bury ourselves in our earbuds and listen to strangers really closely in our heads. We think we know these people to a certain extent. And I mean, you guys out there, you know me. And unfortunately for you guys, a lot of you do fucking know me. That's the weirdest part. Like, I've called you. I've been to your houses. It's so odd. So strange. I'm going to dinner with you guys when I come to your cities. I mean, it's like other podcasts are just like, well, thank you for listening. And I'm just like, hey, do you have a couch? I mean, it's like so bad. Seriously, shouldn't it just be like this weird, there should be some sort of like space between us. There should be degrees of separation, but there's not. It's like people send me their phone number. I call them. Oh, and I didn't even talk about, I don't think I mentioned this last week. I may have I apologize because guys, last week's show, a blur. Like I have no fucking idea. I literally just see red numbers ticking off as I'm trying to get out of fucking Belknap's hair. And by the way, Belknap's hair is now hair. Like Matt used to go shorn, like kind of close. Dude, Matt's got like a wave and a curl. He looks like fucking one of the dudes from One Direction. It was like, dude, seriously? But good for him. Yeah, and if you can pull that off, go ahead. So last week's show to me is just literally a robot ticking off red numbers. So I don't remember what I said. So if I said this already, I apologize. But I want to talk about this. I was calling listeners and, calling people because not only did people want me to call, we did Schmidt-Tember where I got to call people because for the Schmitty Comes Alive that I had to put up. But also if people bought the live stream for the Podfest, which by the way, you can still buy. I'll just tell you right now, if you go to lapodfest.com/live, I believe it is, you can still buy the live stream until like October 20th, I believe, and see all of the shows for a flat price. And if you use the code Schmidt, I get money from it. So if you want to do that, that's great. And there may be other things in the works after that. That's all I'll say. But I will tell you, or should I even just say, should I say it, or am I cutting their balls off if I do? I don't know. Whatever. All right, look, if you buy the stream right now at lapodfest.com/live, you guys can go watch all of the shows. I think it's $25, but if you use my name, Schmidt, you get $5 off. I get some credit, and things work out great. But I will tell you this. Let's see, but I don't have it ready. It's silly to say it if it's not ready, right?
You may be able to get it at some point.
Oh, Christ. Nobody wants teases. I don't want to tease anybody. All right, yeah, stick around. There might be stuff. All right, Jesus Christ. So awful. So the thing is, you can still buy the live stream and I get credit for it. If you want to do that, go to lapodfest.com/live and then use the code Schmidt and we get credit, Lily and I and the show and Dave and everybody. So that would be great. So, how did I get into that? What was I talking about?
Going to the podcast.
Well, I said I went. Well, right. But then was I talking about Friday or how did I get in? There was something else.
About hair.
I was talking about Ron with that lush hair. Oh, such hair. It was about people getting together and meeting one another and getting to know one another and seeing each other and going to the certain shows. Oh, and I talk about how I know people and I call people. That's what I was talking about. So I called people. If you buy the live stream, by the way, send me proof that you bought it and your phone number, and I'll call you to say thanks. That's what I was going to say because I just started doing that, and some people were really nice enough to send me their stuff. So I've talked on here about some people. I've said them by name. Well, I've talked about our friend David Watson. David Watson. I talked about him a couple of weeks ago. He got me the room at the Waldorf Astoria in New York, something I will tell you more about later. Not now, but later. This season on the 40-Year-Old Boy. But David Watson was one of the people who requested a phone call for Schmidt-Tember and also bought the live stream. I don't know if that means I got to fucking call him twice, but... Yep. Well, I will tell you this. So I called him, because I had the list. I mean, I had to go in order of people, and I mean, because I'm weird. And I got to David, and I called him, and I got his voicemail, and it said, "Hi, this is David Watson at blah, 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 blah. You can go ahead and leave a brief message, and I'll get back to you. Unless this is Mike Schmidt from the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, in which case I know there's nothing that you can do that's going to be brief, so feel free to leave." This is his outgoing message. On his phone.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
And I'm sitting there listening to it.
Oh my God, that's funny.
In which case I know nothing you do will be brief, so go ahead and take as much time as you possibly can. And I'm just like sitting there listening, and it got me. It really, because I did not see that coming at all.
That's fucking
I laughed. And then it went to his machine, and I just went, you got me, David. I go, look, I have no idea if this was just for me or if everybody had to hear this. And I go, also, I don't know if I have to call you twice now. I think that's double dipping, but whatever the fuck. And then I left him a long message. But because I have a friend, Lily and I have a mutual friend who uses a phone service that if you call him, his voicemail will say, hi, Mike, I can't get to the phone right now because you are being recorded by ViewMail or whatever the fuck it is. So those services are out there. And so I just thought David had hooked that up, and it made me laugh. And again, because I totally did not see it coming at all. And then part of me is like, well, does he have like a separate cell phone? Like, could he have gotten like just a temporary cell phone but it didn't, because I have his number, and that was the number that it went through. So it just seemed weird. And then he sent me an email, to respond to the voicemail, and he just went, that has been my outgoing message since September 4th. And I have had to explain to everyone exactly what it means.
That's fucking awesome.
That makes me happier than anything I ever heard. Honestly, like just the fact that I know for 24 days. And this is a guy who uses his cell phone for work because it had all of his information on there. Like he had to explain to all of his clients why there was a personal outgoing message to me just in case I called. I just like the idea that I trapped somebody in buffoonery. I think it's fucking awesome. He stepped into a bear trap of stupid and he couldn't get out for 24 days.
It's hysterical.
It is. Well, that's what I mean is I made him explain my crazy to people who have no idea who the fuck I am. They probably don't know what podcasts are. They don't know who I am. They don't know any of it. And he's just like, well, yeah, that's a message to a guy who has a podcast. What's a podcast? Well, it's this radio thing on the internet, and he's calling me, and he's going to call people this month for Schmidt-Timber. What is Schmidt-Timber? I just picture him having to explain it to all the higher ups at the Hilton Corporation as he's traveling. I love it. I fucking love it. The fact that he just fucking walked right into a wall of stupid and had to stick. Take that. 24 days of explaining. He is a winner, clearly.
Oh my God.
Winner. Watson. Yeah, so that made me laugh. So I mean, I've been calling people, and everybody's incredibly generous and very nice. And people bought the live stream, and then some people watched it, some people didn't get a chance to. And Jill bought the live stream, which I was like, why are you doing this? But then I was glad she did, because then we watched it together. Because I'm usually, because she even said, she's like, you want to watch this? And I'm just like, nah. Because I'm hinky about.
Are you happy with the way they filmed it?
Yes, I was very happy with it. It's like a 2-camera shoot,
Yeah.
and it's cutting back and forth, so it's that sort of thing, and it did a good job. I mean, I was really, because again, I was not on board with the live stream when I first heard about it, because I don't know about video. I don't know what I look like. I don't know if you know this. The right side of my face doesn't match the left side of my face. I don't know if you heard that. So I needed to figure out exactly what was going to happen, and I talked to them, and I was unclear on what material I was going to do, because I had a plan for what I was going to do, but then I didn't want to do it because it would be more a work in progress, and I didn't want that being beamed all over the fucking universe. And so I was like, well, I'll do this. And so I'll be honest, I was not sure what I was going to do for the show right up until like Friday.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So Friday night, I sat and actually Thursday too, because I was it was Friday. It was at the meet and greet. That's exactly where it was, because people were like, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I said, I really don't. And I was talking to people. I was sitting there with, Heidi and some other listeners and stuff. And I said, I think I have an idea what I'm going to do. And I said, I think I'm going to tell a story that's already been on the show, but to do it live is different. And Heidi was like, it was so great, because she looked at me and she crossed her fingers and she looked at me and she just goes, what story?
Aww.
And I went, and I told her what it was going to be, and she just goes, yes. And honestly, that's what made up my mind, because I wanted to get out of it. Like, I was looking for any reason to just not do that. But then when she goes, that's my favorite story. Yeah, you have to do that. And I go, yeah, but I'm worried it's a cheat. I go, because people have heard it before. She goes, oh my God, no. She goes, that's the story I tell everybody. Like, you have to do it. And I was like, all right. I said, because again, I couldn't get out of it at that point, because she basically was like, yeah, do it. Yes. And high-fived and told everybody in the world. Some of that's an exaggeration, but still. I was there and I said, all right, my mind was kind of made up for me, because I shot my mouth off about what I was planning on doing. And and she was very nice about it. Everybody was at the meet and greet. I saw Mo, who's a longtime supporter of the show. I saw Mike and Debbie, who have been featured on the show in the past, and to meet them, they came from New Jersey. And again, it's that thing where, it's strange for people to see me talk when they've heard me talk for so long in their ears, and then they meet me, and then I'm actually speaking to them. At one point, and Mike tweeted, he goes, "I'm actually standing between Paul Gilmartin and Mike Schmidt, and they're having a conversation." The weirdest. Like, I mean, it was so, because he's not used to seeing us speak with mouths. You know what I mean? It's just, we live in his head. I live in all your heads. That's where I am. That's my address. That's where I get my mail, right in your head. So it's strange to see me. I get that, and then to see me on stage is also one weird thing, but then to meet me and have me say your name and shake your hand and talk to you, that's got to be fucking freaky. Because, I know I've met people before where I'm just like, whoa, when I saw Eddie Van Halen and stuff like, you're just like, fuck. So it's odd. It's very odd. But the meet and greet was fun, and they brought the food around, and it was really done well. I mean, it was just a really nice area. It was this weird shaped place. It was like a long hallway, and then it opened to an expansive thing at the end. And I liked it because I get to see, Dave Anthony, who I haven't seen in a long time. I go see these guys, and I do this show and I podcast, and it seems like we're all in this fraternity of podcasters, but I don't see these fucking guys ever. You know what I mean? It's because I do my show alone here, and we don't work together. I don't go anywhere. There's no studio we all share. We just have our own independent individual things. So I hung out on Friday, and it's funny, I didn't want to stay late on Friday because I had to get home to work on the show that I now knew what I had to do in. But I still hung out a little bit, and I went to some shows. I poked my head into Eddie Ifft's show, and Gilmartin's show was there, and I checked out that, and I met some people in the hallway, but I didn't stay super late. I think I left at like 8 my time, because the meet and greet lasted until like 7:30. I think I left at 8, maybe 8:30, and I met Pardo. Jimmy was there. He was supporting Gilmartin, and I met him in the hallway, and we went to walk out. It was good to see Jimmy. I haven't seen him in a while, and we talked. And I was actually a little disappointed. I wanted to see their show on Sunday. I had awesome things to do on Sunday, but it would have been neat to be there. But they do live shows a lot. They're going to be they're going to be in Portland. Oh no, that's not them. Comedy Film Nerds is going to be in Portland with Jimmy Pardo. Why am I plugging that? Idiot! I'm not going to be in Portland. Let me go ahead and just tell you that. Very important. I will not be in Portland. I will not be in Portland. In Portland. Haha. So I talked to Jimmy, saw him, and it was neat. And then I went home to figure out my show because I didn't know what it was going to be. And the good news was that I had convinced Lily Von Stupp to come with me to Podfest. Well, don't laugh, because people want to meet you. People want to see you. You're a huge part of the show, and you didn't come last year. It was you couldn't, so it was important for you to be here. Why are you making a face? What? Tell me.
It was funny. I enjoyed it.
Well, good. It's the truth, though. So it made me, this will sound, all right, this is going to sound bad. I was glad you came because it actually took some pressure off of me. Because when you're there, you kind of business Lily it up and you help me out. And also you meet people, and so they don't meet me right away and stay with me. I know that sounds strange, and I don't mean it in a mean way. It's more, for me, it's more of an experience for the listener to meet us both.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I love disappoint them solely.
I don't. Look, I can disappoint people on my own. I like to have a double-barrel disappointment for these people. No, the point is, once I'm a miserable conversationalist and they don't like me, they can go to you and be saved. That's the whole point. Once they go, that guy's nothing like I thought he would be. Oh my God, Lily's so nice. So that was what I wanted. I wanted you're kind of a buffer, and I know that sounds bad, but also it's important on show day because I'm sitting there learning jokes. So we showed up early because my car had to be dropped off at the dealership before I went on a plane for 10 days, and don't get me started. Because we'll be here all fucking day. But the bottom line is I'm still driving an Xterra. This moment, right now, I'm still driving an Xterra. That's all I'll tell you. Maybe next week I'll go into it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'm warning you so you don't listen next week because it's another fucking car show. Who knows? But yeah, I'm still in a fucking Xterra. God damn it. So we had to drop my car off at the dealership, and then Lily had to pick me up. And she met me at the front, and I get in the car, and she has her fine vehicle. I can't say what it is in case you want to run a trace on her. But I get in, I climb into her Tesla, and we're at a meter, and I get in, and she's like, I fucking hate people. I'm like, morning. She's like, yeah, I just, I tried to get in there and they wouldn't let me in there. And then these fucking guys, and then she starts to drive and there's a guy and he's like, and she honks around, hey, what the fuck? Can we move, please? And I'm supposed to be funny in like a couple hours. And I instantly got sick to my stomach. And I know that sounds weird, but I just did because she was being really confrontational and loud and like angry at people and just this. And I was like, oh no, please don't be that, Lily. Don't be angry, Lily. Angry Lily would make things very bad. And then she's driving, and I go, okay, it's up at the Sofitel. She goes, where is that? I go, you know what? It's just right up here on the right-hand side. She goes, where is that, Mike? I don't want to miss it. And I go, oh my God, it's just after the light. Which light? This light. Just right after this light. Like on the right or left? It's on the right-hand side. I promise. I swear they haven't moved it. Yeah, you kind of were. You were pretty upset about everything in the world, and I'm just like, it's on the right-hand side. It's on the right-hand side. And then she pulled into the Sofitel, and
Oh yeah.
she had to valet her car because that was the rule because there's nowhere to park in fucking Hollywood. And the funny thing was she pulls up in her car, and like 3 other cars pull in, and the valet guys all go to their cars. Like they completely ignore Lily and I standing there. And Lily's like, yep, that's fine. You know what? I'm just going to drop my fucking keys right here and they can pick it up and do it. I'm just like, oh my God, please stop. Just calm down for just a second, please. I promised I'll take your car. I promise. I mean, they were dicks for fucking not coming to us first because we were the first ones who pulled in. But they'll get here. I have to do a show. I'm ready to throw up. But luckily they came over and then once they took the car, an unbelievable transformation took place and my great friend Lily showed up. Angry Lily, furious Lily left the building. She stayed in the car and they valet parked her away. And lovely and talented Lily, my good friend, came with me into the hotel. And we saw some people and we said hello and then we went upstairs and the place was a fucking ghost town. I mean, there were no volunteers anywhere. There was nothing. It was empty, other than the fucking hotel dudes going bonsoir. So we went upstairs and we walked the hall and I went and looked at my room, which was in pieces. Like it was this weird, they had to pull a wall across and I'm like, dude, why the fuck? I'm on in 2 hours. And Lily's like, they do this all the time. They'll put this room together in seconds. And I'm like, yeah, but I was told that it was going to be this and it's not this. And because you know me, folks, I'm in a panic anyway. I'm weirded out about the fucking jokes I'm supposed to tell. So now if the room isn't right, because last year I felt the room was too big, and this year I was like, I like the size of it, but there was a wall that was missing, and I'm just like, what's going on? And then we saw Chris Mancini, and he calmed me down because he's like, everything's going to be okay. And Lily's like, everything's going to be okay, right, Chris? And Chris is like, yes, everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, nothing's going to be okay. But the two of them combined, their Zen features and attitude totally brought me back to earth. And so Lily and I, we looked at my room, and I liked it, and we walked out and saw some people in the hall, said hi to a Graham Elwood, one of the four-headed monster who runs the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. Saw some other people out there and visited, said hi. And I wanted to just find a chair so I could sit down and learn some jokes because I knew I was going up. And Lily and I sat down and she was like, I'm hungry. And I said, I think there's a restaurant downstairs. She goes, well, I'll find something. And she got up and took a walk. She came back and she opened a box and she said, take a look. And I think there was a banana, or was it an orange? What was the fruit? Okay, it was just the
banana later.
Okay, well, she opened it up, and there was a crouton
Yes.
with a thimble of jelly. And was there one other thing in there?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it. That was the continental breakfast for.
Like
It was $12.
Yeah.
It was a crouton with a thimble of jelly for $12 in the Sofitel. And Lily's like, and I think she posted a picture of it on Facebook. She's like, well, it's almost a croissant.
I'm so angry.
But luckily, thankfully, I'll tell you what, if Lily from the car had gotten that, there may have been an international incident. She would have boned their schwa, like right fucking away. So she sat down and she was eating, and then I was checking my pad of paper and trying to figure out what to do. And then walking past me, out of nowhere came a guy, and I looked up and I saw him, and I was like, what? No. I couldn't believe he was there. It was a guy named Brian Stack. Brian Stack is a writer on the Conan O'Brien show, and he is a genius. A genius. And I had to tell him so.
Yes, you did.
So I leaped to my feet, and I'm like, Brian. And he like stops, and I go, I'm really sorry. You're a genius. I have to thank you and tell you thank you so much for all your work. My name is Mike. And he was super friendly, and he hung out, and he talked, and that was great. So I sat there, and I kept trying to learn jokes, and then people were starting to fill up, and more people were coming in. And the volunteers finally showed up. My show's at noon. The volunteers, what time did they show up, Lily?
5 till?
Essentially, it was like 11:35. And the thing is, if you know anything about podcast listeners, and I think you do because you are one, you're just fucking in town and excited. Like, they were so ready for Podfest to begin. They could have had a starting line in the fucking hallway, and people would have lined up at it and just run like marathoners. I mean, to go to every show and meet every person. So, our friends, Kilt Bill was there, and of course Eric Butterfield, the first producer of this show, he was in town, and our friend Sarah J was in town. I mean, like, all these people flew in. Heidi and Mel and Raquel from Indiana, and Chris Cade was there, and it was just really just this big melange of people who I've met and I'm lucky enough to sort of know. And they were just really, just seeing people in the hallway. And then there were people there to see Comedy Film Nerds, and I got to see other podcasters. I got to say hi. And it was just that thing where I was just kind of banging around. Our friends Toby and Jason showed up, and I was just kind of working the hallway a little bit. I was mainly trying to learn jokes. So I said hi to some people. Our friend Erica showed up, and I just hung out. I learned my jokes, and then I went back to the room, and Lily's like, well, do you want me to go ahead and bring your water in? And I said, yeah. And I showed up, and then they said, I was told that someone was going to introduce me, and then I walked in, and then Lily was there, and they said, hey, here's Brittany. She's someone from the Pod Festival, and she's going to introduce you. And she's like, yes, I need to say all the sponsors' names first, and then I'll say, what was your name again, sir? And I'm just like, oh, fuck. I said, can my friend Lily introduce me? She said, well, we have to say the sponsors. I said, I'll say the sponsors. Just do me a favor, let Lily introduce me. You don't have to do it. You can take off. Because, again, folks, keep it indie with Mike Schmidt, all right? I don't need you to send your corporate button-down blonde to come in and fuck my name up. You know what I mean? Because last year, they sent in... look, I'm sure I'm being a dick. But last year, they sent an intern guy who was like, all right, here's Mike, the 40-year-old boy Schmidt. Like, I mean, he was like totally fucking chili dipped it. I don't even remember. It started everything off poorly for me. I just didn't care for it last year. So when I saw her with her clenched hair just pulled back into the most severe bun I've ever seen, a bun larger than the continental breakfast crouton that fucking Lily paid $8 for, she just... had the tightest face. Like, literally, I was expecting Gene Krupa to come in and rap out a fucking riff on it. I mean, that was a seriously tight face. God damn it.
Really?
Yeah, she was nice. I'm sure she was a lovely woman. It's just she looked like her face was covered in cling wrap. It was like pulled back so tightly. She looked like, you ever seen an old spy movie where they put a paper bag over somebody's house or plastic bag and they try to strangle them and they breathe in and out? That's what she looked like to me. She just looked molded. And again, she was super friendly and nice. Lovely woman. But I told her she didn't have to do it if my friend Lily would introduce me. And I should tell you this, there's cameras like all over the fucking place at this joint. They were at the meet and greet. They were all over because they were filming for the Earbuds podcast documentary done by my friends Chris and Graham. And so, I mean, I'm getting used. They even told me, there's going to be cameras everywhere. They're going to be filming you. And I'm like, why? That's fine. I mean, I understand it, I guess. I went in the back, and the camera guy was in the back with me, and I'm just there, like, kind of looking at a pad of paper, trying to look serious while he's there. I didn't know what the fuck to do. He's filming me. And then Lily came back, was like, you need anything? She was super cool. And I expected her to go up and introduce me, and I'm like, all right, well, go ahead and introduce me. And then she does, and I came on stage, and the show was, I mean, there, the room was pretty full, which was cool. I mean, I would say it was about 3/4 full, which was great. For noon, I mean, I thought that was pretty neat. But so I went up, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I was nervous as fuck. I won't lie to you, because I haven't done this in a year. And that's not even an exaggeration. I have not been on stage, other than when I did Lily's show 2 weeks ago. I hadn't been on stage in a year. And when I was at her show, I did, 6 minutes of roasty stuff? I mean, it wasn't anything... It was funny, but I mean, it was just a short bit, and I was able to just do it, and people just wanted to see, like, ladies. So at my show, it's a little different. People, they're there to see me, so I need to make sure that I'm saying things that they like. I think. I could say things they don't like, but who knows? So I didn't know what the fuck to do. And then also, I'm going to create a story. I'm going to tell a story that I've told on this show. And it's a story. And it's so funny. In my head, I was in the back and I'm going, dude, why are you doing this? I try to talk myself out of being good, and I talk myself out of doing what I'm supposed to do, and I tell myself, it's going to be rough, and you got to do this, and you got to make sure you do this. And then in my head, I'm just like, and it's the thing I did in San Francisco when I first did the one-man show. The first weekend I ever went out that was sponsored by Maximum Fun, and I did 2 nights at the Dark Room. I was sitting in the back, and your head gets the best here, at least mine does, and I twist myself up pretty good, and I'm worried, and, I texted Jill in the back, and I was like, I love you. I sent her a photo, and she was like, I wish I was there, honey, do good, and that was important to me, and I was in the back, and I was freaked out because I could hear people milling around. I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. I should. People are cool and they're there to see me, and I've done this before and I've done it well, but it doesn't matter. Every time I go to do it, I get the same fucking weird feeling where I'm like, dude, what if it doesn't fucking swing? What if they're not into it? What if it doesn't work? And I don't know why I think that way, but I've found kind of an anti-way of thinking that fights against that. And I did it in San Francisco, and I don't even remember how I stumbled into it there. But I had a moment, and I just sat there and I just went, these people love you. These people love you. These people love you. These people love you. I mean, that's why they're here. It's noon. They could be fucking up in their rooms. They could be at any other fucking show. Super Ego's 2 doors down, and Super Ego has Brian Stack and a bunch of other fucking famous people in it, and they're hysterical. Their podcast is great. But these people chose to come and see me because these people love you. These people love you. These people love you. And I would say this. I didn't say it out loud because there's a camera in the back and that would look fucking ridiculous. These people love you. These people love you. These people love you. That makes the show immediately. I said it over and over in my head. I made sure to tell myself to go out and just be me because that's what people wanted to see. Even though sometimes I don't know what me is. I do this show, and as you know, I will talk in circles, and then I'll tell a story, and there's always a battle, and some people like one thing, and some people like another. I like all of it. I just like talking. I like talking here because I don't have to look at you as you are silent and not liking me. I mean, that's dumb. I know it. You wouldn't listen if you didn't like me. It's dumb. But your brain goes fucking crazy sometimes. So in the back, I was like, these people love you. These people love you. These people love you. And I heard Lily go on stage, and I heard her start to introduce me. She introduced me, and I got out there. And I'm not going to go into full details because eventually you'll have the opportunity to acquire this show. So I don't want to give stuff away, but I fucking destroyed.
Yes, you did.
I mean, I hadn't been on stage in a year. I hadn't done anything longer than 6 minutes in that year. And I went up on stage and I did 90 minutes and fucking tore the place down. Tore it down. As me. I didn't change anything. I didn't make anything different. I didn't bring anything to the table that I don't always bring to the table. And it's honestly, I said that Schmitty Comes Alive was a great version of this show because it starts out with silliness and then it goes into a story, and it was a story I had never told before. Well, I will say that this particular performance at Podfest is even better because it's like the perfect commercial for this show. It's almost 40 minutes of nonsense, of just talking and having fun, and then another 45 minutes of a story. So it starts out doing that talking downhill. I unleashed the bees. Literally, I came on stage, and you'll see when you get the chance to see it. If you go to lapodfest.com/live and use the code Schmidt, you can buy it and see me, or you can wait a couple of weeks, whatever. But you can see, and it's funny, as I watched it with Jill, because I didn't want to watch myself because I get really strange about watching it, but I have to watch to make sure it's flawed or not flawed, or if it's good or not good, or if I can use it or if I can't use it. I needed to take a look at it and see. And so I watched it, and you can see, and look, if you're tired of me fucking patting myself on the back or whatever, I get it. That's fine. But I mean, I do enough tearing myself down to where I think that I'm entitled to at least a couple of minutes of saying that I'm fucking great. I mean, really. I mean, what's funny is on stage, you can almost see me exploding out of myself. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like I'm like yelling, like I can't wait. Because I'm trying to keep up with my brain. That might sound strange to you, but I'm trying to keep up with my brain because it's just firing and it's firing and it's firing. And I'm saying anything that comes into my fucking head and I'm letting it go and I'm letting it happen. And I'm just fucking rolling. And at that point, I'm just trying to keep up. I just unleash the bees and then just hope that wherever they go, I'm going to follow and I'm going to be able to keep up with them because they are fucking swarming the room at that point. And you can see me jumping out of my skin. Like, I think I hit myself a couple of times. I mean, it was just fucking, I just like rolling. And it was so great. And I was so proud of it. And then, you know, the show ended and everybody was really nice. And I went backstage and the camera still filmed me or whatever the fuck, weird. And I walked out into the hall. And there were the people from Super Ego and then my crowd, and they were all mixing, and people were coming up to me, and they were being very nice, and some people wanted photos and to shake hands and talk and to tell me that they liked the show or they thought it was great. And I'm always happy to do well live, obviously, but even more so for people who listen to the podcast like you guys do, because you see that it's not fake. You see that what I do, I can do anywhere. I mean, there's one thing about being creative in a sterile environment, sitting in a chair here in the oldest building in Hollywood and just fucking firing off the top of my head and hoping it works, and being able to stop down and possibly edit and being stopped down and change things if we need to. And then there's another thing to be said for doing 90 fucking minutes at high speed. And I did it. And I did it in front of you people, and you saw it. And you realize that it's not fake. So, I walked outside and everybody was real cool and nice and they liked it. And then I met people and it was fun. And, you know, I had to get out of there because I was getting on a plane to fly to my Jill and spend the weekend in Chicago and then in New York, which I will tell you about later. But I was able to hang out a little bit and see some of Who Charted with Howard and Kulop, which was fun. They were in the room after me. And it made me laugh because Howard saw me and he just goes, "Good turnout." And it made me think less of a comedy show than a sales conference. You know what I mean? Just like, because we were in a conference room anyway in a fucking hotel room, but he was like, "Good turnout." It just seemed like such an odd compliment. And I'm like, "Good, thanks." And then I hung out afterwards and I took photos. But here was the thing that was my favorite thing is the Earbuds podcast documentary people were there. And they had told me that once they, you know, filmed me here in Lily's place and that they wanted to talk to some of the listeners of the show. And I said, "All right, well, just tell me when, because I have people that I'd really like to kind of have you talk to. You know, I know people that would welcome the opportunity. It was important for me to have Eric involved and Kilt Bill. I mean, you know, all the people who came to the show." And so then afterwards, the camera crew was like, "Hey, can we meet people?" I said, "Yeah, I'll wrangle some people." So I was able to get some fans together and listeners, whatever the fuck, and have them get into groups. And they interviewed 2 separate groups of people who like the podcast and people who like the live stuff. And I walked as far away as I possibly could because I didn't want to hear one word of it. If any of it makes the movie, I'll be pleasantly surprised. If you said good things, if you said bad things, well, fuck off. I don't know why you would do that, quite frankly. It's a film about me, god damn it. But I wound up walking away and visited with some people, and then Comedy Film Nerds did their show, and the room was too full. I wanted to get in and see it because I love Graham and Chris, and I wanted to go in there, but it was so packed with people that instead I had to hang out in the hallway. And then the Earbuds director came up to me and he said, "Hey, man, we loved talking to your fans. That was really fun, talking to people who are listeners. Can we talk to you about your show?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine. Where do you want to do it?" He goes, "We can do it right here." I said, "Great." So they threw the camera on me and he asked me some questions. And I don't know what they're going to use. I don't know what they're not going to use. But I just spoke from the heart and told them how much I care about you guys and how I love doing it live and how you guys have supported me. And, there's something to be said for reaching directly out to your fans without a middleman. And we talked a lot about that. And when it finished, the director looks at me and he just goes, "You know, I have to thank you because you acknowledged our camera crew." He goes, "That's gold." He goes, "That's such great footage because you talked to us and you made us part of what you do. You didn't just have this sterile environment." And I got to tell you, you and your listeners are so real. Like, you're so real in your answers and you're so real and you're willing to say what you think. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. You know, and that wasn't on camera, but I was like, that's the point of podcasting. I don't have a boss. I don't have anybody I have to answer to. And so, yeah, I can be real and you guys can be real. And if you like something or if you don't like something, you can say it right to the fucking person. I don't care for that second part of it, quite frankly, but good for you. But I thought it was the highest compliment. He's like, you and your listeners are so real. I'm like, yeah. You know, and because it's a show about my life. And yeah, I might be fucking ridiculous and talk in circles sometimes, but it's all stuff that's happened to me, and it's stuff that's happened to you, and sometimes it's stuff that's happened to us. And so I was out there talking to him, and he was really great. And then the Comedy Film Nerds, there was like explosions and stuff coming out of their room, and I didn't know what it was. It was just, they were showing a trailer. First, they showed the Earbuds trailer, and I saw the trailer for the podcasting documentary, and it was great. I was not in the trailer, but my name was in the credits, which was pretty neat. So I was able to see that, and then they closed the doors because the room was so full, and then there were bombs and stuff going off, and Lily was still there with me, and I didn't know what it was. And it turns out then their show ends, and people start coming out. And people start coming up to me and they're going, you're hilarious. Dude, you're fucking hilarious. And I'm like, thanks. And they're introducing themselves to me. And I don't even know. I wasn't even in the fucking room. I mean, I have no idea what they're talking about. So then Graham comes over to me and he's like, hey, he goes, we showed the trailer for Asylum. I said, what? He goes, yeah, that's the movie I did with Chris Mancini. The Japanese, I mean, whatever the fuck. They have a Japanese bootleg DVD of the movie I did with Chris Mancini, the horror movie that I wound up talking over. It was called Asylum, but I guess now it's called SWAT versus Devil in Japan. I have no idea. None. All I know is that was the trailer they showed. I didn't even know. I would have gone in and tried to see it. But I guess when I come up, because I mean, I had listeners of my show, they go, dude, you were hilarious. And they go, you, the Hanson brothers were there. And they were like, you came up on screen and people like cheered. And then you were fucking funny. Like in the trailer, you were hysterical. And so I don't even know if it's out, if they're going to show it, if they're not going to show it. I have no clue. I have no idea. All I know is people I didn't even know started coming out and they'd see me out in the hall and they were just like, man, you were great. You were really funny. And I'm like, thanks. I wasn't even in the goddamn room. I'll suck that up. But that's the whole vibe of Podfest. That's the whole vibe, is that people are just there and they're cross-pollinating shows and they're learning about other people and they're seeing other people and maybe they hook onto the show. Maybe I have new people this week. Maybe I had new people last week who heard me with the HR-46 and will never listen again. I have no idea. But that's what it's about, is doing other shows and getting people to listen, or word of mouth, and you guys spread it around, and that's the thing. We're all kind of in this together. I don't want to say grassroots and do it yourself, but it really is all of those things. I'm hoping it's more than that. I'm hoping we can graduate past that. I'm hoping, I'd love to get noticed. I'd love to have agents. I'd love to be in a network. There's a million things I'd love to do, but I will never forget that this entire enterprise started with you guys inviting me into your heads, with you guys inviting me into your houses. And I'll tell you this, I don't care what happens in the future. I don't care if there are agents. I don't care if there are networks. I don't care if I'm performing live or if I'm just performing in the oldest building in Hollywood for the rest of the time that my voice holds out. But I make this pledge to you now. You keep inviting me into your heads. You keep inviting me into your houses. And I will never eat your steak and potatoes without doing every fucking dish in the place. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can be a follower of mine on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Our friend David Hernandez does all of the music, all of the artwork, all of the cool stuff associated with this show. You can find him at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and be his friend. Or if you'd like to commission him to do some amazingly brilliant artwork for you, you can go to artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com. He does amazing work. Once you go and look at it, I know you'll want to commission him, and he will do whatever you ask or whatever you pay for. Probably whatever you pay for. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is the producer of this show. You can follow her at several different Twitter accounts. But first of all, you want to be your friend at Facebook, go to Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at Twitter.com/MNTs, Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, and Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out just how close both of us were to walking out of this fucking kitchen before the show started today, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Joe Business, Joe, you're dirt. Joe Business, Joe, you're dirt. Joe Business, Joe, you're dirt. Don't tell me that you haven't bought the big angry. Not yet. Buy it at Joe Business. Look at that kick-ass art for sale. Tweaked audio just cannot fail. Buy it at your business. Hey, the Schmidt, it comes alive. He'll like rap or buy you 1 through 5. Joe, oh, your dirt. Buy it at your business.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. I hope this is being recorded because I'm not so sure about my producer's skill level anymore at this point, because she was just sitting here and she pointed at me and I started to talk. She's like, oh, fuck, hold on. Oh, my God, what's going on? More problems with the computer? I can't believe. Oh, I hit play.
Look.
She hit play instead of record, folks.
But I caught it.
She did,
immediately.
thankfully. And I got to be honest, now I'm a little worried about the whole show. I don't know if you actually hit play in the beginning and I talked for fucking 2 hours to nobody. That would be fun.
Here.
And that show's just for you. It's a show for me and Lily. All right, well, remember about the 3 Clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. That is run much more that's podcast. She will never hit play over there. She is the producer of that show, my good friend Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily. How are you?
I'm here, Michael. How are you?
I'm here, and I'm good. Thank you. And we are checking out of Podcastville here pretty soon. But we want to talk about the Monday Night Teas. How was this week's show?
It was spectacular.
Ooh. Was Count Floyd there going, blah, blah?
No, Dr.
Ooh,
Zombo was.
scary.
And so was Abby Cadaver. She's so adorable.
Abby Cadaver and Dr. Zombo and April Showers
Yes.
doing, was that an Elvira type act?
Yeah, she did Elvira. Sheila did Selma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn.
Nice.
It was an all Halloween themed show. It was a lot of fun.
Now, you did that earlier in the month so as not to compete with the other Halloween stuff later in the month from other shows?
Because I have 3 Halloween shows this month.
Oh, cool. Why not?
It's a bunch of Halloweenies.
Right.
It was one of those where I was like, I didn't want to have a full Halloween show at the end of the month,
Mm-hmm.
so I had a full Halloween show here, and now I've got like Halloween character stuff dispersed to the next 2 shows.
Nice. Sounds like it was a good time. Now, were you in attendance? Did you MC? Were you just there?
I just sat along the sides and watched.
Business,
I'll be doing
Lily.
it again next week.
In attendance. You'll be there next week as well, hanging out, greeting people, saying hello, and getting smacked on the ass and giving free admissions.
Not at all.
Yeah, we don't want to do that actually, because I can't even go into why your ass is so bruised. I don't know. It isn't really. Who cares?
By the way, at the Podfest, somebody asked if they could smack you on the ass and get in for free, and I went, "You should try that."
Yeah, why not? Take a
You
shot.
should really try that.
Yeah, if you'd like to get your arm broken,
And
why
they
not?
kind of looked at me and they're like, "The grin on your face scares me," and I'm like, "Yep,
Was it a guy or a chick?
maybe."
Oh, it was a
I don't
dude?
want to give it away because I don't want you to be like, "Aw, dick." It was funny.
Well, and also because eventually that person is going to come out of the woodwork and just smack me and run away. I mean, they're just,
Only hope.
they're waiting, they're lurking. That guy. All right. Well, I'm glad that the show went well. And who's up this week? Who's there this week at the second of all your Halloween shows?
Electrocute from Chicago is in town.
Wait, hold tight. That's a dancer or a troupe?
Girl.
Her name's Electrocute.
Yes.
That is fucking gorgeous. You realize that, right? I mean, that is fantastic. I love that name. I'm a huge fan. Electrocute.
Yep.
Oh, yes, I'm a fan. Good name.
Yes.
Good
she's
name.
Awesome. Patrick the Bank Robber's hosting. We got a bunch of local performers. It's gonna be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah,
Electrocute. That's everybody go find Electrocute on Facebook and like her page. I don't even know who she is. I've never met her, never seen her, don't know anything about her.
When you
But
will, you'll go, "Oh yeah, you should be liking."
I love that name. That is great. That's a great name. Well, good, man. So if you guys join the Facebook.com/Monday Night Teas page, you can get all the pictures of all the shows in the past and all the shows in the present and all the shows coming up in the future. You'll find information about shows. You'll see Lily's personal posts, all that neat stuff. You'll see a lot of anxious anchors placed in powerful posts. That's from Broadcast News. A lot of alliteration for anxious anchors placed in powerful posts. God damn, I love that line. So you will go to the Join That page, or if you go to brownpapertickets.com and you Google, or you search for, I should say, Monday Night Teas or Lily Von Stupp or 3 Clubs, you will see all the tickets on sale for the upcoming shows, Halloween and otherwise. Is your December stuff on sale yet? Has it been announced yet?
I am just about to announce that we are doing Meat Fest December 1st.
That's okay, good. That was the thing that I didn't know if we were talking about yet or not.
It hasn't. Tickets are not for sale yet. No information is up yet for it because we haven't done the photo shoot yet. But,
Now, am I still performing at Meat Fest this year?
yeah, actually, you are.
Okay, terrific. We have to get my music squared away, and we're still working on my costume together?
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
That's exciting. That'll clear a
You're
room.
still doing my dingling, right?
No, it's our ding-a-ling, let's be honest. if you're helping with the costume, you're going to take ownership in half of this.
I can't wait to see you in a cage ass panty.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, again, that'll clear a room. Seriously, make sure I'm last, because let all the good guys go up first, and then I'll just come out there Carol Burnett style with a mop and just fucking clean the room out. That'll be terrible. What a mess. Mess fest. That's what it'll be called. No meat fest. It'll be mess fest. Actually, it's loose meat fest if I'm involved. Christ. Well,
Holy crap.
yeah, we can't have that. Let's not do that. Well, exciting. Well, good. There's plenty of shows coming up, and the Meat Fest will be in December. Tickets will be on sale for that eventually, but right now all the tickets are on sale for the Halloween shows for October, so go ahead and pick those up. Enjoy them. Love them. If you go to the... Oh, and Dr. Sketchy, we want to plug that? Is that coming up?
Yeah, Dr. Sketches is the first Monday of every month.
First Monday of every month at the 3 clubs. Dr. Sketchy's, where you do the form figure drawings while you're drinking and having a good time. Kind of a party atmosphere, but also with drawing and form figure stuff.
Yep,
Cool.
absolutely.
And then do we want to plug Arizona and Vegas yet?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I'm going to be in Arizona and Vegas.
Done.
I'm going to be at the Arizona Burlesque Festival and the Las Vegas Burlesque Festival the the 2nd and, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in Las Vegas, and then the following weekend in Arizona and Tucson.
The 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in Las Vegas. That's of November. And then the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th of November in Las Vegas. So Arizona the first week, or when's Tucson?
Tucson is the second.
Second week. So first week is Vegas. Second week is Tucson. Go see Lily get naked in the desert. Double D's in the desert. Let's call it that.
Or you could come to the show.
You can do that as well.
See what we did?
Look at us. Our dinglings. All right, so go ahead and check out those tickets. You can actually Google Las Vegas Burlesque Festival or the Arizona Burlesque Festival or Tucson, Arizona.
It's called the Arizona.
Okay, yeah, and check that out. I'm sure there's tickets available now. Go find out when Lily's going to be there. And you can write her if you're her friend at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. She doesn't do a lot of business there on Facebook, though, so you want to write her at Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com if you want actual dates and find out about ticket sales and stuff like that. And she'd love to meet you guys if you're in the area. You want to come out, see her perform, see her host, see her dance, see her fancy costumes, and then come up and say hi and tell her you're a fan of the show. We would love it, so would she. We would love it. That means me and you. We would love it, me and Lily, and so would you. That's it. Oh, Jesus. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, there's all sorts of cool stuff on there, as there always is. You can donate to the show. Upper left-hand corner of every page of MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you can donate to the show either $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. That's really cool of you if you're doing so. Or you can make a one-time donation, a standalone, if you will. Hey, by the way, I sent a Big Angry CD to Australia. And I sent it a little late because I was traveling, so it's on the way. If I don't want, because I know you're a nation of convicts. I don't want one of you to knife me in the outback. So I'm just letting you know. I think it was who was it, in Bo? Was that his name? I don't know. A gentleman from Australia purchased it, so it's on the way. It's en route. And I sent it to Walkabout Lane and Kookaburra Avenue. So I'm sure it's going to be there, and you'll be able to throw a shrimp on the Barbie and have a big oil can of beer and enjoy my CD. It's going to be fun. And someone today ordered a 4 and Angry. And so I saw that. Whenever I see 4 and Angry, it makes me laugh because that's the code for it for PayPal. So just 4 and Angry. I sold a 4 and Angry, which will be the next album, Big Angry. I'm going to be like David Lee Roth. You know, David Lee Roth, he did his first album, Eat 'em and Smile, and then he did a second, Sonrise Soñave. He did a Spanish version of his own album. And I actually have it, and I'll like throw it out. And he literally he did it all in Spanish. He sang every song in Spanish. It's fucking hysterical. So I think I should do that with Big Angry. We were going to do that once before with Los 40 de los años, 40-year-old de los años. Remember that? We're going to have someone transcribe. God, I got to do that someday. Get some Mexican dude to fucking transcribe my podcast and just put it out side by side.
Get some Spanish dude.
No.
Spanish.
No. I need a Mexican dude. That's what I need. Need a guy off the truck who's making me mariscos. Mariscos tacos. I don't know why Zorro's going to do my podcast. That was the worst thing ever. Mariscos.
Will you make him a breakfast burrito?
Perhaps I will. I look forward to him telling me how wrong it is, but then he'll bite it and he'll go, "It's so right. This is so right." And then he'll carve a Z on my chest. Or he'll carve an R on my chest for right. Or a BB for breakfast burritos. Then I'll be a double B like you're a double D. So please go to joebusiness.com. You go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Like I said, there's the donation stuff, upper left-hand corner. But also, if you go to joebusiness.com, MikeSchmidtComedy.com/merchandise. It's the Joe Business page. Get on there. We get all sorts of cool stuff from tweakedaudio.com. They support us with their cock ring watches and their autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds. We got t-shirts available. We've got year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and year 6 of this podcast available individually or as part of the Reservoir Schmidt Dogs box set. Right now, we have For the Life of Schmitty and Schmitty Comes Alive available as downloads. I don't know how long those are going to last. If you want them, grab them. And Schmitty Comes Alive, I know, was up here a couple of weeks ago. But if you want to buy it unencumbered by my telephone wraparound, you can go ahead and do that. That's available. And, of course, artwork is available for the show. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Jamie. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to get you your stuff. Just so you know, it's happening. It's still being discussed. It's still being talked about. It's being bandied about back and forth. So just letting you know that that's in play and it'll happen. And then, of course, what else? We have the Amazon banner. Please click through the Amazon banner and go use our Amazon store. You can actually explore our store. There's not much there, but then you can go to real Amazon and you can buy all sorts of cool stuff and we get credit and the show benefits and everybody's happy, including me. That's right. I include myself in everybody. So go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, visit the Joe Business page, click on the Amazon banner, buy downloads, buy your shirts, and all that neat stuff. Please remember to go to lapodfest.com/live and buy the stream. If you buy the $20 live stream, the archived live stream, or $25, you can put in the code Schmidt and make Mike money. If you put that in, I'll get some cash from it, and you will be able to see all of the shows. And including mine, which I told you about a little earlier. And if you wait a couple of weeks, we might do something else. And actually, this would be a good time to make Mike some money because, hey, folks, guess what I did? Guess what I did? And it is truly what I did. I wish I could be like, oh man, you know what happened? These idiots. Nope. It was me. I knew what I was doing. I've done it a million times. And nothing's ever happened, but this time I happened to do it, and a police officer saw me do it. Yeah, the police. You know them. We should fuck them, right, according to NWA? Well, I'm on board with that. I was in Venice, California, and I was driving, and we were coming upon Washington Boulevard. Now, Washington Boulevard and Lincoln is a terrible intersection. I mean, it is cars upon cars upon cars. And I was turning left onto Washington. Well, Lincoln is a fucking parking lot, but the left turn lanes are a breeze. I mean, they're just fucking totally empty. And that's where I have to go, folks. So here's what I did. We were pulling up and I was getting close. And then I decided to pass or go in to get into the left-hand lanes. But in order to do that, I had to go around 2 cars and pull up into the left-hand lane. And when I did that, I crossed a double yellow line into a turning lane. There was nobody in that turning lane, by the way, but I did it and I crossed and and as I pulled up, a cop turned the corner, saw me and hit his lights immediately. Immediately. I drove 10 feet and he saw me and that was it. He got behind me with his flashers on and in my head I'm just like, fuck, dude, just be cool. Be cool, right? Wouldn't you be cool? Wouldn't you Chili Palmer me here? So the light turned green with the arrow. I turned into a donut shop and he pulled up and you know, it's been a while since I've had an actual experience with police officers where they come to the window and they talk to me. I got pulled over once coming home from work after like a 14-hour shift, and the guy was kind of a dick. This guy was just like straight up business. And he's like, sir, do you know why I'm pulling you over? And I said, well, you can tell me. And he's like, well, you know, you crossed over a double yellow line into a turning lane, and that's certainly illegal, and you passed 2 cars in doing so. And he finished, and I said, listen, I said, I have a favor. I go, I'm working, and you can run me. I haven't had a moving violation in at least 15 years. I'm a good driver. Is there a way you can? He goes, sir, I'm going to stop you right there. Just give me your license and registration. Like, he wants no speech, no story. It's California's broke, and we're writing this fucking ticket, and you're not getting out of it. You're not getting out of it. So I fished around, because I'm also in a loaner, folks. I'm in an Xterra, so I'm like, dude, I don't have any. This isn't my car. And he goes, doesn't matter. The ticket will be in your name, and you can still pay it. I'm like, I wasn't trying to get out of it with that. I'm just telling you, if you run the plate, it's not mine. And I handed him the stuff, and he just fucking wrote me up. And it was that same bullshit of like, you know, I'm letting you know that there's a court date and you can do this. And I go, how much is the fine? He goes, I'm not at liberty to say, sir. You'll have to go on the internet. You have the internet, sir, capability where you can go ahead and find out. I go, yes. It's that thing where they treat you like you're a child and it's just that you're out of your fucking mind because you want to lose your shit. But at the same time, I did what he said I did. Clearly, I did it. And it was a drag. I was just trying, again, but here's the best part of this entire thing. When I moved to California in 1986, I had to take a driving test because I had my Illinois license, and at the time they didn't just transfer it over. I needed to take the California driving test. And I took the written test and did well, and it took me forever. I've told this story on here before, I think. It took me forever to take the driving test because I didn't own a car. And my brother worked, so I couldn't get his car. And so I had to constantly borrow cars from people at my work. Now, I had a car. I should tell you this. I had my car, okay? But when I came in to do it, my driver's side window didn't work, and they wouldn't let me take it because I had to have a real working vehicle. So I took my brother's car, and they wouldn't let me take it because it was my brother's car. And then I took my car, and it was registered in my name. And then I was like, well, what you? And so finally, a third car I borrowed from my work, a guy I worked with at Coast to Coast Terminals. So I pulled in, and I took the driving test, and everything was fine. I was driving. I parallel parked. I nailed it. I fucking came around a corner, 3-point turn. I did that. It was like when they made you do all that shit. And we got up to the DMV, and I was in the lane at the light, and I had to turn left into the DMV. And I pulled up, and there was like a billion things in traffic, but the left turn lane was empty. And I pulled out, and I crossed, and I got into the left-hand turn lane to turn into the DMV. And the driving guy goes, "What did you just do?" I go, "We're going to the DMV." And he goes, "You just crossed over a double yellow line." And I said, "Well, yeah, but just to get into the left-hand turn lane, you can see that this is completely stacked with traffic." I go, we would have had to wait through another light." He goes, "Then you wait through another light. You don't cross a double yellow line. You know what you did? You just drove into oncoming traffic. You could have caused 5 different head-on accidents." I'm like, "Well, there was nobody there. I wouldn't have done it." And he's like, "Well, no, you fail." I went, "Pardon me?" And he goes, "You fail. You can't do that. That is illegal." And,
Wow.
28 years later, making a left turn in Venice, California, literally the same amount of space, the same amount of room. The only thing I wasn't turning into the DMV, I was just turning onto Washington Boulevard, and I get pinched for the same fucking. So I couldn't even act like I didn't know. I couldn't be like, because I'm sure it's on the record somewhere in the fucking DMV if they looked me up. I couldn't even go, "Yeah, dude, no, I totally didn't know," or "No, come on, man, I just did." I mean, I violated the law, but not only that, 28 years ago, I did the exact same fucking thing. And was turned down for my license and failed. So I can't even fucking, with a good conscience or with a straight face, just go, "Oh man, fucking police, if they were just out stopping real crime instead of giving out tickets." No, fuck that, dude. You did the wrong thing again. 28 years. And that's literally, I think this entire story is a metaphor for my life. 28 years later, I still am doing the same dumb things and fucking paying for it. And this time I'm gonna have to really fucking pay for it. Dude, I went and looked at the fine, and then it's like a point on your driver's license. I just fucking, oh my God. Literally, this show starts as a tiny snowball, and at the end, the hundreds are dead at the bottom of a ravine. I mean, I get that. Believe me, if there's any show in the history of the world that does not need to be transcribed for posterity, it's this one. I like when nobody can see the seams. I like when I'm able to kind of just, fly with the bees wherever. When I have to actually stop the bees and ask for directions, that's not fun. I just like unleashing the bees, but when the bees have to stop in mid-flight and we all have to kind of look at each other and bust out a fucking map, that's not fun at all. I want to saddle up these bees and ride, goddammit! I'm done.